Howdy do.
Hey man, what's up?
Not much, not
I
much.
got a sleeping dog in my lap. He's dead ass asleep. He's
Yeah.
heavy.
So,
Oh,
did you celebrate last week?
yeah. Wait, last week.
May May 5th to May 9th is Short King Week.
It's a whole week?
5-5 to
Is
5
it?
5-5 to 5-9.
I'm 5'2", man. I don't even qualify for that shit.
It was actually from Monday to Friday. It perfectly lined up right in the week.
I don't even qualify for that.
Damn.
I'm too small for Short King Week.
How's it
You've been
going?
holding on to that. Oh,
For at least 1 week.
You've been rubbing your hands
For 7 days, approximately.
Well, thank you
Well,
for
actually,
the thought,
no.
regardless.
5 days, because shorter than the full week.
Yes, shorter than a regular week. Yes, I understand.
Right.
You're an asshole. All right, well, thank you.
Oh, what's going on?
Thank you for thinking of me. So I played a little bit more of that Expedition 33.
Yeah, so have I.
And
Lots of thoughts.
I ran into. So I remember there was like a little interview a little while ago where the director was like, "These are my favorite games," and he listed out a bunch of games, and I did not know how literally we should have taken that list of games because that was a fucking blueprint.
Yes. Straightforward. Like there's
I like the FF8 and the Dark Soul and the Devil May Cry.
We are not
very good game.
We are not mincing words. We are wearing our hearts on our sleeves with what we love. It's very, very obvious. So quick, let me touch my tongue to the wind, to my finger.
Yeah.
Hold it up here. Where are you?
I beat the first act.
Okay.
And then after the first act, I ran around for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Pushing buttons.
Okay.
Going, is this really what I fucking think it is? Are you fucking serious with me right now on this? Are you fucking my ass on this?
Yeah. Okay. All right. There we go. So you are.
That is ridiculous.
So you tested the waters on Act 2 a little bit.
I tested the waters. And I remember going into the menu and I'm like, surely this does not, like, because I go to the menu first before I go and try it out. And I'm reading descriptions. I'm like, this reads familiar, but it can't actually mean what I'm reading here.
Yeah. So the fun stuff that this game is doing, and we're gonna still, it's still really new, and we're gonna still talk around things for people that are going
unlike someone in my Doom fucking stream last night. I had to edit the VOD around that. Yeah.
Big spoils.
Totally unrelated game stream. Someone came in at midnight and was like, "Hey man, sorry I was being annoying during the Expedition 33 stream. I just didn't want you to have all the silly costumes on during incredibly clear description of blah 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 blah."
Okay, so complete.
And I read it out without thinking because I was like, it's like 11 p.m. and I'm tired. And then I was like, fuck, shit.
Complete.
Then I had to go cut all the videos and delete VODs and shit.
Yeah. Shitbag move. There you go.
People have been like insane about this game in terms of like spoiler content. It has been like one of the worst I've seen ever.
So I'm being particularly careful and stuff because like it's one of these like that from the moment you start it, it's an Attack on Titan style setup where you're like, we know there's a problem, we don't know why or what's going on. So everything you're doing is discovering more about the problem in the world and whatever it is. Everything is new, you know? But to that end, that's fine. I can say this. There's a whole lot we can talk about that's just mechanics based, right?
Yeah, so like
and systems based.
This game, you think it's about French ennui and getting older, And what it's actually about is turning that teenager into a super weapon that can destroy all.
Yeah. Make her a nuke. So yeah, I'm not in Act 3 yet. So I'm still working my way through. But I've made some good progress, and I'm chipping away at some really hard challenges. The absolute, like, straightforward, okay, we're not gonna mess around, this is what we're referencing, continues, right? Like, they're very, very blatant about that.
I couldn't believe how overt it has been. Like, every character is like, you know what game's really cool?
Yeah.
This one.
So for me, what, like, there's the, oftentimes the way tutorials work in this is, like, you get into a fight and then, like, it goes like, hey, or you pick someone up or something, and it's like, hey, do you want to do a tutorial or so? But in this case, it works in a way where you have a good chance to, like, go through the menus and, like, examine a whole bunch of stuff about a new character before you get into a fight to actually use them.
Yeah.
So I see a mechanic called perfection, and I'm just like,
and then I read there's like one of the descriptions on the skill tree references you cannot drop lower than this.
Yes.
And I was staring at it and going, what? That can't mean what I fucking think it means.
Yeah.
That would be nonsense. How would that even integrate into this? Oh, and then I turn into fucking what is it, Captain Knuckles with the dog doing a backflip. Just,
oh, I sure hope you've been getting good at the game's mechanics and what it's been trying to do, because
I have a problem with that. I have a real problem with that.
I have one I want to get to too as well, actually. Interesting. Let's hear yours.
So the game many games have a difficulty curve, which starts off easy and gets hard. Other games have, like the Witcher series and Cyberpunk, have reverse difficulty curves, in which the very beginning is like the hardest magnitude harder. And then as you get your kit, you're just like, oh, there's nothing that can touch me. This game has both. This game has a sine wave difficulty curve.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is a joke. This is a joke. This is a joke. Oh, that has hands.
That is the realist.
Back to jokes. Back to humor. Back to humor. Oh, that has hands.
Yes. So there are people and things standing around on the map during Act 2 where you're like, I don't know if you're real or not. Like, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But and then, like, there's times where, like, upon first glance, you'll be like, oh, that's real as fuck. And then it'll be like, actually, if you think about it and strategize a little bit, it's manageable. And then there's other times where I'm like, okay, I've spent I've put another however many hours and levels past the last time I took this challenge on.
Right.
Let me go back now that I'm so much buffer and see what. Yeah. Oh God, I'm wiped. Still got nothing. And you're trying to gauge early challenges for when to come back to them later, and like you go back way later and still get rocked is such a wild feeling.
It's really interesting because it has one of those things that Elden Ring has and the Soul series has, where it's like there's multiple different kinds of player expression through character power. So one of the things that Expedition does really well is like, okay, old-fashioned style, listen, I don't know how to do this. This seems really tough. I'm just gonna hit the gym and my characters are gonna fucking get huge. And I'm going to dump points into them, and I'm going to just bump their stats and upgrade their weapons. And we're going to see how much of a difference that makes. And it can make a significant difference. There's also, hey, I'm going to really actually dive into the Picto system.
Yes.
And I'm going to, like, take my L, and I'm going to, like, what I did is I build her around burn and just, like, throw 40 burn stacks a turn. Down.
See what's going on.
I'm just gonna, and me figuring that out and just putting the dots together. Okay, now this encounter is trivialized. And then there's the third one, which is one that I found myself relying on for two of the roaming, chromatics or whatever in Act 1, which is if I just never make a mistake once in the entire fight, it can't kill me. And I will eventually win.
yes, there is
and that is really satisfying.
There is a very clear and the thing is, as far as mistakes go, it gets dirtier and dirtier and dirtier. And I'm like, now I'm seeing scum level sucking shit that is so like, ooh, that's evil, because you know that players can try again, and eventually whatever you're looking at, you'll be able to memorize. So let's be as dirt as possible on it, right? There's I'm going through, like, there's an area that's a like fuck you area, right? Fuck you optional,
Danger,
eat shit zone, right? And everything in it is basically like a boss. Every encounter is like, oh, you're in it for a minute. And you start seeing things where, like, yes, defensively you can parry and avoid and dodge and jump and do all the things, right? But if you don't do the right thing in the right way and approach the fight like still tactically while being defensive, you're gonna sit here forever and not get anywhere done. It'll basically be a stalemate.
Yeah, the enemy numbers can be extraordinary.
So it's not even so there's things like that.
I mean, like, just HP, like the amount of damage.
Yes, the amount of damage
they can take is extraordinary.
But there's other things we're getting into. So we're getting into things where the team, the enemies you're fighting, will start healing each other at a rate that your DPS is not outracing.
Right. Okay.
Right. We're talking about mechanics where the affinity of the enemy you're fighting will switch to something that, oh, your Mael loves fire. Cool. Heal me with your fire. Then switch it up. What else you got? And like, you have to basically be like, oh fuck, if I do a parry right now with Mael,
I'll heal them.
I'll heal them a lot because I'm doing a ton of damage, and that's bad. Right? So you can't just be like autopiloting it. You actually have to approach it in the right way and strategically. And this is where messing around with your builds and experimenting like pays off heavy dividends, right? What's cool too is the encouragement to experiment, because you get so many respec points.
Recoats.
Yeah, recoats, you know. And I've been sparing on them, and I'm glad I did. I'm like, let me just save these up. I don't know, but I don't need them for now. And I've been going through it and getting this really, really cool feeling of like, okay, every once in a while when I choose to dive in deep into the Picto system, I'll do it with a character to create a build, because I see a particular advantage that's really worth building around, right? So for example, like Lune, I'll see a weapon where it's like, hey, every time you cast a free shot with her, you build a stain, a random stain, right? Okay, cool. How can we build around this idea? Well, she's now somebody who's going to use her AP to fire 4 bullets every turn, right?
And then cash them out.
So knowing that she's going to be firing every turn, let's gear all her Pictos towards the shooting based.
The arcing one, the burning one,
right? And then suddenly you're like, I've got a character that's more concerned about taking shots and getting and building that up and doing, you know, and then supporting the team while taking those shots. And like the AP reward on everything you're shooting is then trickling into like, you're setting up a mark for the next person, and so that's really fun, you know? And the feeling I've gotten a couple times now has been like, oh shit, I just picked up a new weapon that's worth swerving my entire playstyle around. Right?
Yeah, I got Mael's fucking purple katana.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh my god, this changes her whole character into an even more busted character.
Time to switch it up, right? And then so you start working heavily through like, yes, rearranging your Pictos to become all about like, I'm starting in Virtuos, let's go hard, right? And then you get like that, like I did that. I picked up a sword that was like really good on base attack damage, right? And I was like, oh, that's sick. Let's work around the idea of making base attacks as good as possible. And then I started seeing some busted numbers popping out with that. You know, there's there's like a Picto that is like your base attack swings twice, for example, which is like, ooh, okay, what can we do there? Getting the ability to play again and just, you know, like forcing your character to get more turns in before anyone else can act, you know, starting first and so on. And then I picked up like after crushing it really hard with that, like not even barely a couple steps later, I picked up a weapon that was like, your, like when you do crits, amazing things happen using this sword.
Right.
And then it also scales with luck.
Yeah, all right.
So I'm like, time to throw all of my build out. Like, not just go back and redo the Pictos, redo your entire character's points, heavy into crit, right? And then redo your skills and consider going in a completely different direction built around critting. And so now I have a character swinging for 92% chance at crit per swing.
I was
right.
I was able to figure out a way to get CL. So CL has an ability that doesn't cash out her resources if it crits, and it's a multi-hit.
Interesting.
And I was able to push some numbers around to get her to 100% crit.
Okay.
So I could just cash the thing out.
Yeah.
Infinitely over and over and over.
So that's it, right? I look at it and I go, let's put on the Pictos that'll push my crit even further, and then shove a bunch of points into it. Now I'm swinging it. Yeah, you're basically every single swing is a crit. All the good things that you get, all the good bonuses happen, double damage, etc., etc. And then on top of that, what was the other thing? God damn it. I got lost in the anyway. The that just becomes like the main way to play. Oh yeah, that's what it is. I see an ability on the skill tree that is like, if you land a crit, you're going to add to your perfection points, right? Yeah. So let's grab a multi-hitting, multi-critting move that you do one swing and you go perfection, and you watch your style shoot through the roof, and you're like, this is the fucking build. And it feels so good to just immediately be like, I can't choose which way to go. All these builds look and feel amazing.
I think it's probably the only JRPG style game I can ever think of in which there is like a legitimate case to be made for not even using your full party.
Yes.
Like genuinely, like, what if I just fed all of my resources to myself forever?
So you can certainly decide to put as many Pictos on one person as you want
for like maybe 90 minutes with like just one character. Because I wanted to, so I got a character and they were underleveled compared to the rest of the cast. And I'm like, oh, I'll swap them in just by themselves to see, to catch them up a little bit. And was immediately rewarded with just the requirements and the resources I needed to make that work, which then worked really, 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 really fucking well.
It's pretty fun putting on all that solo stuff and seeing it just numbers go right.
So I will say the Picto system is totally overwhelming. It is the menus for it are terrible. The you can sort it.
Setting favorites is saving my life.
Okay, like once I discovered setting favorites, I had a big sigh of relief. I'm like, okay, this is
manageable.
Something you need to be able to make sets.
Oh yeah, like, for sure.
That is like maybe the singular big flaw of the game is that like I would like to be able to have this version of my L and this version of my L and this
locked
version of my
in
L
as a group. Yes. Also, the ability to be like, I want everyone on my party at minimum to have these. These are where we're starting here.
Yeah, I would like an equip all on parry damage up.
Right, or start with plus 1 AP.
It's going to be on everyone. It costs 3 points. Yeah. It's going to be on every single character ever.
Everyone is starting with plus 1 AP. Everyone is starting with 50% damage extra on the first swing. Like just right across the board.
Yeah.
So that's all pretty huge. There's sorting into the smaller categories as well. But then admittedly, you're switching to as well from like a list of Pictoids to equip to like a second version where it's like now the skill. So that with the points
menu's kind of a mess. It's kind of a mess.
It does, yeah. It does get
especially considering how deep you have to go into it and how much time you spend in it. It could have been a little clearer.
So when you're talking about the solo stuff with your characters and how good you can do though. So you have I get, yeah, so you have the party that you're playing with. Have you messed around with what happens when you wipe out and you've got people in reserve?
Yeah. Hey, you want to send them in? Yeah, okay.
The last stand system, right?
Yeah.
And now we can start talking about you want to build up someone to be solo, okay, but you don't have to send them out first. In fact, send out the people you want to use, and if you've got somebody in the back who's going to come in on the last stand, and it literally says the Expedition 33 their final stand, and all of their solo shit just goes bop, 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 bop.
Yeah,
And
I had I had the girls out, and I put all that solo shit on Gustav, and I'm like, Gustav, I love you, but if you're coming out, it's dire. So here's every solo buff you could possibly have.
And then,
and then it worked out a little bit. It's worked out quite well.
You fight a boss or a challenge or an area, and then you're like, damn, I took it down most of the way and I learned the defense, but I slipped up on something. And then you come back in.
Now time to just clutch it out.
Right? And it feels really good to have one person come back in. And and you get the XP reward for it as well. And obviously dead characters make less XP, backbench characters make less XP, but it's not a like all or nothing situation where you feel like, god damn it, I almost want to restart and not beat it with that person. Yeah. Right? The reward you get for benched and dead is still worth it.
What's interesting is that I tend to obsess over everybody equalizing. I think that the XP gradient they have in this game is the second best XP gradient I have ever seen, in that characters catch up quite reasonably. Each level is like more than twice as much as the one before it. So they really just equalize to some degree fairly naturally. I think the only game I can think of that has a better experience curve is Lost Odyssey, because Lost Odyssey has a overtly fake experience curve in which each major dungeon area gives like 10 times as much XP as the last one. I remember every dungeon in Lost Odyssey, I would hit like the magic level that they wanted me to fight the boss at, and I would go from getting half a level of fight to 1/100th level per fight.
Right, okay.
And I would be like, oh, okay, I see here.
You're hitting
what you actually want.
You're hitting XP tax brackets where it's exponential. Yeah. The and shout outs to the point system in Metaphor as well, where you can max out a character and then use their points to go spend on whatever you want on other people, other characters, archetypes. So something that's really fun here too as well is the I'm going through, so what you're talking about, I'm really feeling it, because I'm going through this area where like all the enemies are giving tons of XP and I'm leveling up super fast, and I'm seeing how quickly the ones on the back are getting left behind, and it really is like they're not trailing too badly, and I had a point,
swap them in.
Yeah, so I had a point where like I had a good stretch of fights that like kept like almost like a 5-level gap between my highest and lowest character, and then the boss fight worked out so that the benched character stepped in instead and took the kill and evened it out,
right?
So that feels really good.
So this is one of those things that only affects like a very specific personality type, and it's a personality type like mine. But this game handles it extremely well, where it's like, okay, you get like colors of Lumina, which are like give your characters like an extra skill point to use, right? Which is really powerful. And then I'm like, well, what if I don't end up liking this character? What if I don't like Lune and I put like 40 points into her, and now that those points are gone because I can't pull them out, right? Does that mean I'll be behind? Well, I got a 4th party member and had enough fucking spare color of Lumina to bring them right up to alongside the rest of the cast in like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Like they were like 2 Lumina behind. It was like 39, 40, 40, and like 35.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Right? And I was like, oh, that's great. But then I'm like, well, what if this, system compounds? What if I get, there's probably like 6 or 7 party members, blah, 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 And so I asked a friend of the show, Gene. It's like, okay, so, what's the cap on these? Right. And his answer was like, I don't know. My highest capped character was like fucking 370.
Oh Jesus.
And I'm like, oh
wow.
It doesn't stop at 99?
It doesn't stop, huh? Okay.
Oh, well then fuck it.
So, well, here's one thing I saw, right? So, got a party member moving through, and new party member, of course, comes in a little bit shy compared to the others. And I'm looking at their like number of picto points or so, and it was like everyone was in their like 40s or 50s or so, and this person was at like 25, and I was like,
yeah, you're like, oh, that's their way behind,
right? Go back, do some cleanup, and finish off a side quest. The reward for that side quest is 40 points.
Got it. Great. Done. Excellent.
So the game has ways that are intended for you to make your team catch up and hit parity, for sure.
An excellent progression curve. Old, with the weapon upgrades, like old resources become trivially free. New resources become more and more common.
And there's a good reason to like go back and do those things with new party members that you didn't have anyway. You see shops around the map that are like, hey, unlock an expeditioner to come back here and get the cosmetic I'm going to sell you.
New stuff.
You know?
Having so many of the items be like cosmetics is super exciting.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Super exciting.
I do a really hard challenge, and then the reward is not like a big sword or a piece of armor. It's a fucking shirt, and I was like, yes.
I remember I got to. This is a minor spoiler for a type of side content in the game that in Act 1 I got to a beach. And I saw that the beach was not a combat challenge. It was a platforming challenge.
I was telling you about the water.
It is a platforming challenge that is fairly extreme. I think it is like way past what you would expect the game to want from you, especially considering the game is kind of slippery and doesn't have a very good jump.
For the engine it's built in. This is what I was talking about when I said it's asking you to platform.
What you're talking about.
And you're like, guys, this is not what the game is made to do.
And the music sounds like Fall Guys. And I'm sure those are going to get harder. That first one did not take me long. And I was overwhelmed by like the obvious inspiration that it took from both Fall Guys and FF14. That is a Final Fantasy 14 style jumping puzzle. The summer event every year has a beach platforming puzzle that looks like that fucking thing.
Okay.
And
I just said Fall Guys when I saw it. Yeah.
The types of like the jumping isn't super good, so you have to learn this dumb shit to deal with it is more or less the same. So I was so fucking ready to fucking do it. And the reward is like an ugly swimsuit. And I'm like, fuck yeah, ugly swimsuit. That was so worth it. That was so worth it.
Early 1900s, bather's beach suit.
And Gustav's like fucking massive package bulging out. Like good for you, buddy.
Oh, I got one for Lune.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to be perfect, it might just be the way it's modeled or so, but like the same almost applies. There is a very distinct mons pubis that is visible. But anyway, the one of the challenges in one of the fuck you hard areas is coming at you with like, become a parry god right now, right? And like sit here and just like fucking do it.
I'm going to do it. Don't worry, I got it.
And you do it, and then it's like, you fucking crushed it. Here's a dress.
Yeah, this is my parry dress.
And it's such a cool dress. I love it, I'm so excited by that. Little bits of I guess future advice from the future, from the year 2000. If you there's some characters, or there's some challenges that are around the world that you walk into and you're like, oh, okay, all right, I'll be back,
Goodbye.
Sometimes it'll be like, it's within grasp, but like maybe there's stuff that you can miss because something that you someone that you will meet later effectively is a blue mage. And if you want to get blue mage abilities, you have to fight the things that give you those things. And if you kill those things before someone is available, then you're going to miss out on that opportunity. So consider that.
But at the same time, if you are able to kill those things, that means you're cruising.
You are. And so, I don't know about the completionist sake, feeling. I don't know if there's necessarily perhaps a way.
We're getting nays in chat here.
So I'm going to maybe there's a way in the future to deal with that, I guess, perhaps people that might know. Okay, I'm seeing a bunch of nays, so maybe there's a way that you can collect things that you've missed or so. So, all right.
I hear braying and whining from the animals in the pen.
But the initial thing I kind of was like, oh shit, I got something here that I saw, and I was like, ooh, I'm glad I waited for that challenge.
I'm sure there's no way to lock that up. Wait a second, are you saying there's a character that's like a blue mage in this not Final Fantasy game?
Yeah, there you go. So
I'm gonna be blunt. It has been a long time since I played a game that I was so consistently impressed by its universal excellence. In every single aspect of its presentation, design, visuals, sound, etc. And I ran into Ben Starr.
Yep.
And I don't believe the interview that I saw where they're like, Clive was written after this character.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Yeah. I mean,
that is a lie.
At the same time, like, I kind of, you have to wonder, like, is this just Ben Starr now? Is this just Ben Starr being Ben Starr? Could it be?
Well, the Ben Starr voice is like 10 different characters in this game.
But Clive is Clive, and then like, are we going to just be
Clive?
Are we Cliving it up forever now? Because I'm down for more time with Clive.
And I'm taken away by like a controversial opinion, and like, you could have just put the name Final Fantasy on this game.
Don't sully Claire Obscure.
No, that's not sullying. That's like that is like the goal. These people wanted to make a goddamn Final Fantasy game, and they made one of the best ones. That's crazy.
It's amazing.
It's their first game. They're amateurs.
What's interesting is as well the fact that it's like so RPG turn-based, but it's the part that I guess is like asking you to react defensively. I'm like there's up to a certain point in the Final Fantasy timeline, I'd be like, I wonder how much you'd want to lean into that. But now that we've had a fucking Devil May Cry Final Fantasy game, it's like, oh yeah, no, you can do that. That's not a problem. But also, I say Lost Odyssey because Lost Odyssey is also JRPG as fuck.
Lost Odyssey is not quite Final Fantasy, not really, but it is kind of maybe.
But like in that it's very straightforward with its JRPG-ness, and then it's putting some cool QTEs on top of that, and the art style is carrying it and doing amazing things. With that though, so two things about this game that one. There is one unique issue that I'm experiencing here. And are you playing on PC?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I am having a very peculiar thing where every once in a while, and it might just be a setting, it might be a video thing or so.
That's the fucking keyboard shit?
No, not the keyboard shit, because the mouse is popping up and that's kind of annoying, but that's not it. I've
seen everyone talk about that.
Little frame skips.
Yeah.
And I don't think they would ever matter except for when you're frame skipping me in the middle of a parry sequence.
Yeah, so I've turned that shit down so that I'm crushing 100 frames in all scenarios. Like, it is a gorgeous game. It is an absolutely immaculate, beautiful game, and I would love to play it at the highest, most picturesque painted settings possible. But like, I was running around at 80 frames, and then I was fighting a boss, and it dropped to like 45, and that caused me to like have like a judder. Yeah. And I'm like, no, you cannot have this.
Can't do that. Can't do it.
You may not have this.
And I'm playing, my way of playing this game, as you can imagine, is on the razor's edge, where I'm like, I will defend, or I'm feast or famining through the game in a lot of ways. Yeah. And so
you're playing heaven or hell.
Yes. And with that in mind, I'm like, if I fucking parry all 5 hits of this sequence and then like the 6th one goes and then I take the hit and die. That sucks because that fight took a while, you know? So
well, I don't think the game, I think you're still probably better off. I don't think the game runs at 60 on anything else. I'm not certain. I'd have to check. Hold on, let's just find out. Let's just type it into an internet.
I need to go play with my settings because I haven't really done so. And you know, now that the parry challenging is getting really, really fucking scummy, like there are characters who are doing startup to their animation that looks identical, but like one of multiple things might happen, you know? So like if you start getting into the rhythm of like, oh, I know what your move list is, or you start getting into the rhythm of I'm just doing this musically, no, you can't. Because sometimes it's going to force
30
you...
30 FPS on the consoles.
Okay. It will force you to make sure you are reacting to what's coming at you. And like, yeah, I've had a couple hiccups that like stole hits from me.
Performance, okay. 30 FPS on the weaker consoles, and then performance mode on the good ones is 60.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take the hit for consistency because timing matters. This is a game, you know, like
big matters.
If you have to do parries, if you have to do fucking QTEs that are like really, some QTEs are really like last minute placed. You know, the timing on them is very sharp. So yeah, same thing. You got to make sure that performance is rock solid. And with that now brings me to a strange conundrum I've been having. This game is excellent by all accounts, and it's one of those things where when I hit a game that's super solid, I always kind of go over to Punch Mom and I'm like, hey, here's one you might want to hit. Might want to check.
I've been doing the same with Paige. I'm just like, oh, it's so universally excellent. It's so unbelievable.
So just so much good stuff here for you. Now, the problem is that for her preferences are such that like if she can put it on easy or put it on something where the execution isn't as necessary, if it's mainly about decision making, she can enjoy herself, right? But anytime the reactions and stuff get too demanding, it becomes an issue, you know? And so now I'm kind of trying to figure out, like, I don't know what the game looks like on easy.
See if that works. See if just pumping Vit works.
I was going to say, I don't know what the game looks like on easy, but I'm curious. I'm like, if you have enough defense, can you play this like a traditional RPG?
I bet you totally can.
Where you just take hits and deal hits, you know?
I bet you totally can.
Because that would be one answer.
That would be fast. Battles would take longer, I assume.
Yeah, for sure.
But I bet you totally can.
Okay.
People in the chat are saying yeah.
Yes. Okay. Because that's
awesome.
If you can play,
that's great.
If you can play it where it's just like, all right, we've removed this timing element from it necessarily, unless every once in a while you want to try it, but for the most part, you know, then that's great. There are fuck you, avoid this or die like
there are
scenarios, but I do find the optional challenges to be like much more demanding than like the mandatory ones, you know? Okay, so yeah, I need to look up to see what a version of this game looks like or so, where yeah, she could go through it and not necessarily worry about that stuff, because there's so much good otherwise, and I'm just like at one point, like she walked in while I was like hitting one of these like insane tactical, like, you know, making affinity changing enemies and parrying like a sequence of 5 things, and she was like, oh Jesus, is this what you were recommending? And I'm like, but I'm doing that to myself though. You know?
Yeah, no, I'm my reach may be exceeding my grasp right here.
So
like one of the things that really stood out to me is that, you know, I'm streaming it and I was fighting a chromatic, and I was fighting the chromatic for a while because they can take a lot. They have a lot of health. And the woof noise for parry timing is quite excellent. It's really quite useful. But also, once you learn the parry timing, I ran into the situation where like a chromatic would start an attack, and I would just turn my head to this other monitor.
Yeah, because you're like, reacting to the noise.
Tap. I'm like reading chat, and I'm talking to people. It's like, once you have it, you have it.
For those enemies.
For that guy. For that guy and that move.
I promise you, there are other enemies who are like, this is the startup, but what's coming? You have to react to the
Come
You know?
on, Elden Ring Margie.
Yeah,
Come on.
it's not about the wind up. It's about at the beginning of the active frames, and you have to do one or two different timings depending on what's active, you know?
The timing parry for 33 is so interesting. They want you to parry while the move is inside your character.
It's not the window 100%. It's not the slider for like dodge timing and then
usually
parry in the middle.
It's like I'm gonna hold up my arm and then the attack will hit my arm in the parry animation. That counts as a parry.
Yes, if you were looking at a video timeline, you would take the active window and put it right in front of your character, and then everything before that is like, you know, loose fail state, right? And here, it's like the parry window goes after you on the timeline. So, yeah, if the sword is really inside of you and you're a little bit late, like, you can still make it work because it wants it. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it.
It's like Coyote Time, but for parries.
Coyote Time.
Are you not familiar? So Celeste is the first game I played that has Coyote Time, in which you're going to go to a jump and then the jump, you will not fall until your character is like one full character off the platform.
Oh, Donkey Kong Country.
And you will jump off of nothing. It's like Wile E. Coyote suspended in air.
Oh, okay. Donkey Kong Country jumping.
It's a way to give you just a little bit of extra leeway on tricky jumps.
Yeah. So it's so weird to see in action where I'm like, I know I was late on that parry, but you still gave it to me. And it's I'm trying to think of like, I think sometimes in Souls, right, there's like there's attacks that come at you at such a speed where you're basically you're aiming to press the button on the impact, not before it, type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And then so what you get here is this weird mixture, because there's stuff where there's things there's enemies coming at you and you're doing that timing we're describing, and then there's also stuff where it's like this is only ocular. There is no visual cue for you. You just have to hear it, type of thing. Or that's not true. The accessibility means that you can visually react to it, but it's not as obvious as a big arm going up or so, you know?
This game is so fucking awesome. And I got to some bits, like I finished Act 1. I got to some bits that were like, God, if you couldn't figure out it was French before, get ready for this fucking film grained 4x3 black and white audio distorted.
Oh yeah, flashbacks.
Sad operatic French lady in the background cutscene that I know won't make any sense until I have to watch the movie again.
I'm
like just so fucking French. Oh my God.
I am choosing to wear the baguette on my back, and I am choosing to play the vinyl of, you know, Lumiere, and I'm listening to my beep.
Yeah, oh, it's
and I'm like, yes, I'm enjoying the Frenchness of everything happening right now.
It's so fucking, it's hilarious. It is, and like they know that French stuff is hilarious.
Leaning in,
like that you run into Esquier, and Esquier is French, and that's the joke. It's that he's French. That's it.
Yeah. No, you're looking around at these big gargantuan creatures that are completely inhuman, and one of them has a beret on, and you're like, yeah, okay, let's go talk to you. I bet you I know what you're about. You know, and like just like fucking cave of beasts, and of the beasts, one of them is just like, why, hello, you know.
I'm a big fan of the strongest ice attack ever. I don't know if you remember that.
What?
There's an enemy that attacks you with the strongest ice attack ever.
Okay.
That is the name of the attack.
Okay, I don't remember.
And I was like, how strong? Whoa! Oh man. Yeah. Like, just all right. That the text on these attack names are not lying.
It's something I've been waiting on too that I want to see a bit more of. Is there's been a couple, but they're definitely the one thing that needs to be dialed up heavily is more characters need to be exclaiming how much they could use some wine right now.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Just like, you know, in bouteille, just how much they would want a verre, you know what I mean? Like, it would be so fantastic, because then there's once or twice where they're just like, oh man, I could use a bottle. You know,
Yeah, man,
but
absolutely.
that is truly the mark.
But yeah, Expedition 33 is like an easy standout for a Game of the Year contender. And more importantly, for this new studio, it is apparently on track to sell like millions and millions and millions.
Beautiful, wonderful.
Congratulations.
Also, we're going, you know, with our impressions, you know, so far. And like last week, I was talking about how the linear nature of this of the progression and stuff, and that kind of hallway, and then it opens up and stuff.
Yeah.
That motherfucker opens up proper big.
I believe I am at the point of the game where it's about to open up.
No. Proper big opens. Never mind. You know. Still like zones where you go in and it's just like big. It's still kind of like, oh, just go pick up a record over there. It's like a big area of just music to pick up, or so. So there's still some big empties, but shit still opens up quite a bit. So yes, I'm happy to continue pushing and shilling for this game, because it is fantastic and deserves all the accolades. Clair Obscur, Expedition 33.
It's so good game.
Okay. So on my end,
what else you been up to, man?
Only other thing, the Evo Japan watch party went down. And
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I think that you really made the right decision by not being in that venue in person.
Well, it's in Japan, so you know that would have been very difficult to
Apparently, it was pretty hot.
Oh, Japanese summers are brutal.
Yeah, apparently it was pretty hot. I heard the Strive finals had like equipment failure due to the heat.
Overheating PS5s is I've been hearing as well.
That's brutal, man.
That sucks.
Because what are your solutions? Do it somewhere else? The whole point is to do it here.
Yeah, that's a problem that needs to be addressed, and that can't be going down like that for sure. That's crazy. But the brutality of a Japanese summer cannot be avoided. It's kind of like you know going in, you know. I remember like shit. I mean, back in the day, like watching Genshiken and just like the lineup of from like real life of Comiket. People just a bunch of dudes just lined up on the wall corner with their towels, and it's just like, this is the fucking towel zone. We're gonna just sit here for a while and, you know, before you can go back in. So we did we did the watch party. That was a lot of fun. It was very cool going through it with everybody, just kind of like watching highlights of the best moments and everything from the day before. Essentially, you know, because it's Japanese hours, we would start in Eastern time zone. We did 12 to 5 and just like went through each game through like all the best moments in pools and everything up to top 8s and stuff. A lot of fun too as well, because it was the main games are Street Fighter 6, Tekken, and Guilty Gear Strive, Grand Blue Fantasy versus KOF 15. But there was a Virtua Fighter 5 Revo 5v5 teams bracket and a Third Strike teams bracket, and those were a lot of fun to watch. Like, still doing it, you know. We talk about the old salarymen that just post up and play these games. It's like, okay, you are someone that's been playing forever and you're a beast, but you're a family man and you're not going to take a trip to Vegas, but this is in your backyard. Taro, get the fuck up, head down to Evo Japan and whoop some ass, please. Thank you. And yes, there was some good shit. It's always fun to see that, and a lot of names as well from like way back in the day, competing and doing well. So fun stuff. Shout outs to Evo. We had a good time with that.
There's some news that came out of Evo Japan, but we're gonna talk about that a little later.
There certainly were some announcements. But yeah, no, thankful for the opportunity. That was very cool. Everybody that got to tune in, you know, that on the main channel proper, it was just a nice opportunity to kind of put that fucking Get Into Fighting Games intro out there, blast it out for everybody, and then to have me crawling back into the garbage for the outro as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
That's nice to put on a big stage like that.
yeah, I'm not gonna run the Bible Black outro, but at the very minimum, I'm gonna crawl into the garbage so we can get that going and you know, keep it keep it professional to some degree. Indeed, you know, if I ever would like the ability to return here, I suggest maybe not having edited hentai show up on the Evo main channel.
I mean, maybe not. I mean, you never know. You never know.
Yeah,
maybe they're cool.
Mm-hmm.
Are they cool? Who knows?
They're very cool, but I just, you know, in a world where once upon a time certain Armika costumes might be an issue.
Oh yeah,
You know, it just might not be the time, you know.
Oh,
Also the you know that the I talked about this with Sacred and Terrible Air, but the sad hilarity of irony being misconstrued for earnest, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the get ready for your daily red pill Sigma male clip goes up, you know, how many, like a non-zero number of Evo viewers will be like, really? You know?
Or worse, you know what?
Know?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So there's that, right? But anyways, fun stuff. And yeah, if you want to catch any of that, that's up on the Evo events YouTube channel as well. Me and Reg had a good time. And then yeah, we'll get into some of the announcements from that a little bit later. But that's pretty much the deal. It was a full ass weekend, you know. So this week we're going to do I was going to do 2 sessions of Cyberpunk. I think I might do 1 because I have some work to catch up on that I was now not able to do because of the weekend being so busy.
Right.
But yeah, pushing through through Cyberpunk. And I think I'm anticipating hitting Act 3 fairly shortly. So
oh yeah.
We will see where that goes. But I've been enjoying what that story is doing so far, for sure. Very, very cool. So tune in this week.
Do you want to talk about a story that I've been enjoying in a very different way than that?
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing more of 100 Line. Late at night. That's 100 Line Last Defense Academy. I am not familiar with Kodaka's works. I didn't play them Danganronpas, right? Or the Ultra Despair Kids or whatever
Dungeon
the fuck
Grandpa.
that shit was.
Mm-hmm.
So for context, I am at day 11 of 100.
There's a calendar system.
Yeah, it's 100 days.
Okay.
100 line defense means 100 days.
Gotcha. Okay.
Also 100 endings, but that's for later. So maybe this is how it's supposed to go. I feel like the Kodaka-san, the writer, is like in my face telling me I'm stupid and telling me to just yeah, you think this is what the story is? No, stupid. No, it's this actually. You dumbass. Like every single time I seem to start to get a handle on the game's structure and what I think the game is going to be, the game goes, no, it's not about that.
Right.
It's actually a totally different game, idiot.
And you know why I think that's probably the case? Because he's been writing games about switching it up and swerving on you for an entire franchise now, right?
Yeah.
When you're M. Night Shyamalan and everyone's like, yes, what's the twist? I get it. You are kind of like known for doing this thing. How do you approach a novel idea with that being your signature and find ways to, I guess, keep people who already know your tricks from still guessing your tricks?
Yeah. He goes to a lot of trouble by adding the Danganronpa mockery character Darumi in there, who is just the fucking Danganronpa jonkler. who is just constantly going off about, wouldn't it be cool if we all just killed each other and had a death game trial for it? And they're being treated as like outrageously unreasonable, and everyone is ignoring them. So like just the most, like some of the most unlikable characters I have ever seen in anything.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Actively repugnant, horrible characters. I kind of am starting to love them though. Do you get in their awfulness?
Yes. Do you get to spend time with them?
Yes.
Okay.
Not much, but some.
Okay. Yes, this is correct. You are expressing the correct feelings for a Danganronpa. Horrible characters. Let's go hang out with them next Tuesday. My character has been
forced to play like hardcore classic out of print Aroj, like with this character, and then I got linguistics for it, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Awful. Just people.
The stupidest nonsense. But it's just like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what the fucking writer wants me to think might be going on either. If that makes any sense. I have nothing. I've been given nothing.
So I think, again, on the basis of Danganronpa and the fact that keeping your expectations blown out of the water, you have to let go of guessing and just sit on for the ride, right? Just let it take you where it's going. Stop trying to figure it out.
It is, I would say it's like actively hostile to any form of media enjoyment other than, I guess I'm along for the ride.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is totally fascinating.
Because there's also like, there's stuff that is like, oh, here's a hint at something that you won't know until you have future context. Which is...
Yeah, but I don't know if that's true or if it's just nonsense.
But
I've encountered a couple of things that could just be nonsense.
But that's what I was about to say, right? That thing that is an indicator of whatever is also right next to a complete red herring. And you're going to be equally invested in both, right? And thinking about both as to the explanation of what's coming. And then suddenly, hours later, you will walk up to the second one and you're like taking it seriously, and then Monokuma, the bear, will have a big dumb fart gag in front of it and be like, blah, blah, blah. And then like it was never anything serious to begin with, and you were staring at it getting completely distracted.
Here's an example. Like the starting point for the game's story is like fairly normal. You live in a somewhat normal Tokyo and somewhat normal students, somewhat normal people. But then the mascot character that you see on all the art, who is like the head of the school, is like a 3 foot tall, completely transparent, like jelly bean person with a floating brain.
Sick.
And the fact that he's an outrageous monster freak is never brought up once.
Yep.
Ever.
Would he look cool on a t-shirt? On a mug? Probably.
No.
Nah, you're not thinking hard enough. You're not thinking stylish enough. Absolutely.
It is so hostile to understanding. And I have been totally charmed by it. Absolutely. It
worked.
It's so consistently interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Every day every day my character goes to bed and I go, I have no idea what the next day in this game is going to bring. And the characters' interactions are all strange and kind of tropey, but also like anti themselves. There's a character that is like very obviously like gay for you, and is being I feel like I'm reading like a fucking BL fan fiction here, but like I'm also convinced that the story will never go that way. And then I finally understand like a tweet I saw earlier from a small Victorian child, which was getting queerbaited by Danganronpa is like losing chess to a dog. But the dog has been training his entire life for this, and you've never played chess.
That is fantastic.
And I was like, what an absurd thing to say. And now I'm here and I'm like, oh yeah, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is like a fucking sloppy mess. And I couldn't be so stupid as to fall for it. And I'm totally falling for it.
I mean, and the thing is too as well, like the fact that the charm is working is like it must be also like when the fact that you're playing the most recent, and this is probably the best version of the roster, you know, from all the ones going forward. Because again, you did mention like you're like, I don't gel with any of the things going on in the previous ones, and
I don't gel with the dag big grandpa gang.
And I'm thinking about, you know, when we go through like we talk about like the metaphor cast and how fucking sick they are, and then you're like, you think about how like annoying like some of the P3 characters were, like Junpei and Yukari and whatever, and then you go into 4 and you're like, oh, that's a much better cast, that's cool, and then 5 you're like, oh yo, these are everyone's really great here, and like you know, there's that like that feeling of like, oh yeah, okay, the charm and the appeal and the cast getting more fun to hang out with over the course of these games is also applying here, where you're getting probably the best version of them, you know. So I am definitely curious, because now that you see what you just described is 100% what all those other characters were about in the previous games as well, with the exception that like they're all like, there's the ones that are like not horrible people in a particularly obvious way. You know, there's people that are like horrible in very subtle, you'll find out later ways, and then the ones that are normal are just like, yeah, they're gonna be a corpse in like seconds, you know.
There are 2 characters on that roster that are objectively, like, clearly designed to make you hate them, and they might be like 2 of the there's the pathetic Kamiya Twitter shithead, and then there is the guy who is obsessed with his sister.
Mm-hmm.
And these 2 might be like the actual worst characters I have ever seen in anything in my life. Like every time they talk, I am actually just taken by,
and
shut up.
I think
I love them. I think I love that they are like, they are swinging for the moon on awfulness.
So I think there's a part of this of the approach here as well that is possibly explained by the fact that everyone is also really dumb. Even the smart characters are like smart relative to everyone, but are super stupid in a lot of ways. And there's just like, people are like that idiot is a golden retriever of a character, right? Like people behave like single brain-celled idiots while also like being like
the
called
100 line cast have like 2 people that are like kind of normal, and they are a stark contrast to this cavalcade of fucking freaks.
You know, the idea of like you know, at least in Dangan's case, it's like you are the best in the world at a thing, whatever that thing is, and that means you're a super crazy weirdo in so many other ways in order to be the best in the world at this one thing, you know. Yeah, I'm glad that that's working on you, because that's what it is.
It's also a pretty good strategy RPG. Like the defense missions they're not super tough. I assume they won't get super tough for a good long while, but they're fun and they have good presentation. And it's nice to have like, this will eventually turn into a visual novel with branching paths. It's nice to actually have like an additional like actual game part to it, which is increasing your stats, fighting battles. There's other types of gameplay in there that I had no idea would be there, and had this real feeling of, oh, I'm doing this now. Oh, okay, sure, fuck it, fine, whatever, fine. Very weird game, aggressively strange.
You know how Potato Girl Sasha in Attack on Titan is like a wild ass goofy potato girl in the middle of this horrifying violent nightmare?
That's correct, yes.
and she's hilarious and kind of dumb, but also endearing, and it's just a nightmare. What if the whole cast?
What if literally every single person on the cast was that level
an entire game of potato girls in the middle of a massacre, right?
Like there's a guy, what's his fucking name? Is it Gaku? I forget his name, but like he's obsessed with being an asshole. And then when you're like, can you not be an asshole? He's like, you just hate me because I'm poor. You piece of shit. This dude's hating on me because I'm poor. And like, I've never seen this type of character in a game before. And it's wild because he won't stop and he's awful.
Yeah. You know, when they go for the nerdy, crazy yandere type character, it's like, oh yeah, okay, she's doing the it's your fault I'm not popular style, you know, bit, and then you're like, yeah, okay, I know the deal, and then it quickly just gets like, oh god, what is wrong with you? Ew, fucking god, it's so horrible, and then you just kind of like come all the way back around to be like, oh, you and your gross shit, get out of here, you. Give a little
no, this 100-line game is super cool.
Nice.
Only really have a single complaint, and that is that I'm at day 11 of 100, and it feels really, really, really clear to me that this visual novel has no branching paths at all until you beat it once.
Okay.
It is fucking story for a while.
I don't know that I've played, like, there hasn't been any branches in the Danganronpa games. Like, you just go through them. There's no.
Well, see, this
those are visual novels with solutions to the problems and variability. You know, then that's it. The only things that change are how much you commit to a relationship with a character by hanging out with them based on your free time.
The main thing is that it's also written by Uchikoshi
999,
who's Zero
tons of endings. Yes, yeah.
And his gimmick is that you take pieces of information from one route into another route.
Love that.
But I don't think that is going to be happening here.
Okay.
But yeah, cool game. Very cool. Apparently it's got like 6 million fucking characters of text, which is why it's not going to be localized into a bunch of different languages.
Jesus.
It's like, it's ridiculous. And apparently it's doing well, which is good because apparently they're on the verge of bankruptcy.
Oh no.
Apparently they are always on the verge of bankruptcy.
It's voice acted though, right?
No.
Oh.
You know it's voice acted? Maybe 1 out of every 100 lines.
Okay.
And big money moments.
Important scenes.
Voice acting.
Yeah. Okay. Visual novel text you go through with the barks and the oh no.
Yeah, the barks. I don't like the barks.
that little chie laugh.
Yeah.
Okay. And then big scenes. All right. Shall we?
Oh, I got more. Brother.
Excuse me.
I got that new Doom game came out.
Well, actually, technically it comes out tomorrow.
Whatever. The streamer tax, dumb idiot tax version of the game came out yesterday.
You got
for 128.99 Canadian plus tax.
Okay. Well,
or it got sent to me in the emails.
Yeah, okay. I'll grab it on tomorrow then when it's not the stupid fucking $120 version.
Well, maybe wait a second. It tried to kill my computer.
Ooh. Okay.
It crashed on me multiple times so hard I had to yank the cable out of my PC.
Oh my god. Yeah. Maybe on console then?
Maybe.
Jesus.
The other thing is that, did you play 2016 in Eternal?
Yeah, not the DLC of Eternal, but the main game.
So
yeah.
I love those games. I think those games are great.
They are.
And I feel like that there was a really strong, cohesive, like identity behind 2016 and Eternal.
They're different from each other, though.
Oh, very different. But I mean, each one of them was like, we're gonna make fucking Doom Eternal, right? And I feel in my emotions that the core concept behind this game was, let's go make another Doom game.
Okay.
Like that, their goal was to ship another game that said Doom on it.
I like Doom games,
so I know exactly what I obviously, but it doesn't have the fucking spark that I felt when I was played 2016 and Eternal. And part of that reason is that it is very different from those two games, which I think is cool. I think it's really awesome that it's actually extremely, extremely different. So Doom 2016 was fairly classic, and then Eternal had you double jumping and dashing and sidestepping and dodging and fucking trickstering all over the place.
Doing the rounds, yeah.
And this game has no double jump and has no dash. And instead of being a acrobatic Doom man, you are basically a tank with a shield.
Okay.
And you have a perfect parry system. And you have what is essentially Stinger. And you have essentially, you throw the shield at somebody and gets lodged in them, and it's essentially round trip.
Okay. As Gene was describing.
Yeah. And that description was apt. But you are trading that for no alternate fire on any weapon and much slower movement. And
is moment to moment flow like Eternal, where you're having that arcade mode style, like keep the combo going?
It's very different.
Okay.
I don't know how to describe it other than just to play it. It's really good and it's quite excellent, but it's just, I don't know, it's just missing something. It's really subjective, like more than usual when I would talk about this. Like one of the things that I noticed right away is the music isn't mixed loud enough, which is fucking weird.
Wow.
It's weird that the music isn't mixed loud enough. So I had to go into the options and max out the music. And then the music is not Mick Gordon.
I was gonna say Doom game don't have a music controversy issue challenge impossible.
Right. And it's also even maxed out, it's still not loud enough. And it's fine. It's fine.
Is it genting?
I don't know what that means.
Gent and the what the like BFG division fucking is doing.
Yeah, it's doing that. But there's also not enough music.
Okay.
There are levels that are more wide open, and took me nearly 2 hours to beat one of these wide open levels. And when you're not fighting, the music just fades away into like ambiance, and it just doesn't have the same spark. I was talking to Gene about it when I was streaming it last night. You remember in Doom 2016 and Eternal, you had in Doom 2016 you had lab, then you had Martian surface, then you had a different type of lab, then you had a factory, then you had Martian surface, then you went to hell, then you went back to the lab, then you went to a different type of hell, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And in Eternal, you would be like hell on earth, ice magic night zone, Coliseum, weird hell, and Mario Brothers level in hell, all sorts of zany shit. I just played 7 missions in a row of mostly brown Sentinel Knights architecture
Oh, okay.
stages.
Thematically, okay. Yeah, I guess. Well, because so this is taking place during the wars, right?
Yeah.
Is it kind of limited in where it can go and what it can do with that as the backdrop?
Yeah. Supposedly, according to Gene, I have 2 levels before it starts to vary it up.
Okay.
Um, but like that first 8-level pack being what is essentially the same tile set is fucking awful. Like I'm so bored of that style of architecture and that style of thing. Um, I also I'm like some of the new weapons are good. A bunch of them are like okay. I don't think the weapon roster is nearly as strong as Doom 2016 or Eternal.
Is there any part of it that's like going for the previous Dooms before 2016 that's like affecting kind of like what they're doing?
I mean, 2016 was a lot like Doom, and 20 Eternal was, I guess, closer to Doom 2. I don't know how to describe it. It feels like like an extreme, like remember how much faster Eternal was compared to Doom 2016? This is slower in the other direction. Like this is the slow Eternal in the other direction, and I'm just, it's just not hitting for me the way that those two did.
Okay.
The fact that it tried to kill my computer doesn't help. That's not a, especially since the game is very annoying about telling you to make sure to upgrade to the latest drivers. So that's like kind of hilarious that it would then try and kill itself. Like the shield, the shield mechanic is excellent. Okay. Like excellent.
Nice.
But it's your secondary weapon for everything. Like, in Eternal in 2016, every single gun had a secondary weapon, secondary fire that was really interesting.
Is there no synergy between the gun that like with the shield to kind of make up for that, or
yes, there is. There's a huge amount of synergy. So there's like some, like you get the Impaler, which is basically like a railgun, and it's like kills with the shield drop railgun ammo, or if a railgun is impaled and you throw the shield at somebody, it does extra damage.
Okay,
stuff like that. But it just,
yeah,
I don't know. I wish I had something more concrete than I don't know.
Okay.
But
because I know that like the big difference, so the difference between Doom 2016 and Eternal is huge, but I still enjoyed both for what they were doing. And even though Icon of Sin or whatever,
god awful,
but like the idea of the like, once I understood that you're like, you locked me in a room and you want me to combo the shit out of this room and like flow state, right?
Yeah.
Once I understood that that's what the game was asking, I was like, cool, I'm down. I understand what you want me to do, which is different, but it was fun when it was going. And in this case, I'm open to the idea of being asked to do something else, like let's throw Ultra Kill into the mix, right? Ultra Kill, shorter levels of just fucking intensity and bosses and crazy shit that goes down. Yeah. But yeah, tons of alternate fire, tons of ways to like, remix the way you're using the same weapons and create original synergies and things like that. Like, and then mechanics that are like the coin flipping mechanic, is like a simple thing that is rewarding to experiment with the entire time you're running through. So like whatever they're asking me to do, if it's different from the others, that's not inherently a problem to me. It's just, is it going to be fun when you're executing it at its peak?
It definitely is. It's one of those things. It kind of reminds me of with our talk about DMC4 last week. It's like the levels, the wrapper around that stuff just isn't there compared to the other two. Maybe it'll get there. I'm going to continue playing it.
Okay.
One of the things that really does stand out like dramatically is that the game has almost no story, but it has just enough story to make you go, wow, this story is stupid and bad. Like there's like maybe like a single cutscene at the beginning and ending of every mission, and I like nothing is happening in them, but it's just enough for you to go, this is stupid as fuck. Like, this doesn't even need to be here at all.
Okay.
Like, actively dumb.
So I mean, like, are we going like? Because the story in the original too is like, I love how straightforward and evil and just like corporate hellscape. Here comes the maker. She's terrible.
Oh, absolutely.
And him on his ship, just hearing everybody freaking out and picking up the clips of the scientist fucking gooping her panties, talking about the Slayer. I'm like, yeah, that's great, sure.
So people in the chat are talking about Eternal and how like Eternal was that times a million, because Eternal had tons of story and tons of logs and tons of details about the Doomslayer is actually this and they're actually Jesus and they're from heaven and oh my god, right, all that nonsense
in the beginning. Yeah, and Hayden and
So it's that, but because it's a prequel, like nothing is actually happening, but it's still doing that thing. So like there's an entire level that the only thing that is happening is we have to defend the level from the bad guys. That's it. That's all of it. And they'll have like a couple cutscenes of like demons scheming, but it's like what are they scheming? They're scheming to blow it up. And it's like it could just not be there at all.
Okay. So because whenever I like looking at the premise and sort of setup for these types of things, it's like you heard about the war through lore and tapes and as a reference in the past, and like is it like going back to the Clone Wars? And I mean,
it feels like
never mind the show and the good stuff that happens many seasons in or whatever, but like it's like, what was the Clone Wars? And it's like it's this arena in a dusty coliseum where you can't see, and those lightsabers are turning on in this one circle moment, and that's kind of
now you're in it, and you're doing the war that everybody's scared to piss about the Slayer for. And it's like, it's an absolutely excellent game if it's not trying to kill your computer. But I'm kind of unimpressed compared to 2016 and Eternal, and I'm extra unimpressed considering the game is more expensive than normal. Like it's $89.99 Canadian in normal circumstances. Okay. Right? Like, I'm gonna keep banging away at it for a little bit, but I would like to. I mean, maybe part of the problem is that I love Eternal. Like, I think Eternal is the fucking peak. Like, some people didn't like. Like, I remember when I played the Eternal and I got to that hell level that was like fucking Mario Brothers spinning fucking flame balls and double jumping, and it was a goddamn Mario thing. And some folks were like, "Oh, I don't care for this. This is stupid as fuck." To which I say, "Yeah, Doom is a stupid as fuck video game. Give me my double jump so I can get my extra life."
So, based on what you're saying, I mean, as somebody who thoroughly enjoyed Big Daddy drilling my way through BioShock 2,
this might be more to your taste by default.
Yes, yeah. I'm super. If the shield is good and fun and it's like rewarding enough, I'm super down to just enjoy that shield all the way through, and that'll do it for me.
Well, by the first by the third level, you can completely upgrade the shield to maximum, which is what I did.
Oh wow, okay.
And I know it's going to be what you do.
Yeah.
And you should do that.
I'm a fan of meleeing, obviously, in general, but like in a first person game where it works in sync with your gun variety and stuff to like play off the two together, where you can do things from far and then get in close, and then do things from far and get in close and kind of combo and stuff. Like, yeah, that sounds rad as hell. So interesting. Okay.
I wish the music was better and more of it.
Yeah.
And I also think that
I wish Mick could be on all things at all times forever, but that's just not the way reality works.
I also think that maybe they've gone too far with the map. So you know how Doom games would like Eternal and 2016 would show you like where a secret was on the map, but it was up to you how to get there.
It's been a minute, but
right, it would. It
sure.
would show like a question mark, and
Okay.
it's like, well, how the fuck do I get there, right? They have gone too far. So like, one of the pickups in this game is gold, and you'll sometimes get gold on the ground, like health potions are. You know how they're all in a line. You know, like boop 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 boop. And when you look at the map and you're within a certain distance, you will just see like literal lines of question marks leading to secret areas.
Okay.
And like one of them was like turn down this corridor and walk down the line of gold, and there's a big gold at the end, and I punched it and it said you got a secret, and I'm like, I didn't even jump to get in here, man.
So
this
it's not like finding the little Nendos, little Doom guys around the map.
Yeah, you still do, but like a lot of them are like, come on, man, this isn't a fucking secret. You gotta give me a fucking break.
Gotcha. Okay.
There is one other thing, and it is really, really, really funny because it exists in this moment in time. So you're playing a lot of Expedition 33.
Yes.
And Expedition 33, it has a fairly tight but not unreasonable parry timing. The parry timing on Ultra Violence and Ultra Nightmare and all the harder difficulties in Doom, the Dark Ages, is like 90 frames.
Oh.
and
no.
exists in a sphere maybe 10 feet in diameter around your character.
Okay. It's counter. It's not parry.
It is.
Yeah.
They say it's parry.
Yeah. Okay.
Man.
All right.
It is wild.
And through these types of discussions, we find words to iron down feelings that don't have words until this moment. What you just described is so interesting because when a parry window is so generous that it extends too far ahead of the rhythm of the moment, it stops feeling good. If you hit way too early on something and then it happens like a half second after, it's like, it didn't feel like it was impacting on the moment. I'm
able to parry slow moving attacks after I have dodged them and they are behind me.
Yeah. That's not good. Right? And the funny thing about that is like to if you just change your perspective on it, a character doing a counter, like a catch, I'm anticipating something and then it comes in, is like, oh, that's fine, right? But for it to be a like I am deflecting what you're doing off, it needs to be within a heartbeat feeling, you know? Like it's got to be, you can't get that too loose or the feeling's gone, especially if there's like a slowdown associated or something like that.
One of the things that's interesting is that this game's option menu allows for a extremely wide variety of changes to the gameplay. So you can turn up the game speed, you can turn up the movement speed, you can turn up enemy speed, enemy damage, turn it down. You can fuck with the parry timing. You can make the parry timing more strict if you wanted. I'm playing on Ultra Violence, which is the Doom's classic hard mode, which is the way I've played through every Doom game since I was literally a child. And all the difficulties is hardest parry timing is around, I don't know, 60% of the way up on the thing. So when I'm talking about, I think the game is kind of slow, and I think the parry timing is incredibly generous. I will see people either in my chat or comments or Blue Sky or here right now saying, well, just dial in the knobs to make the game feel how you want it to feel. And I don't know how to explain that. Like, I don't want to have to fine tune past what the dev intended for me. I'm already picking a difficulty to try and figure it out, and I'm already QAing what settings crash my computer, and now I am being asked to season it for myself because the default spices aren't as to my liking as the prior games they've put out.
Well, I could certainly see like increasing something's forgiveness to be like, you know, an accessibility option or like the Hi-Fi Rush, I have no rhythm, version of things. But I get, making it stricter on yourself while I see what you mean.
I'm not the kind of guy who brings my own hot sauce to the restaurant.
I get it.
I don't know. It just doesn't. It feels unconfident, and it feels like the kind of thing that I would be messing with after I beat the game. Right?
I'm also reminded of how, like, I super praise the way of the passive fist for 4 or 5 difficulty sliders that change up, the challenge according to what you want it to be. And, in a lot of cases, like, there are, or even in, like, Kid Icarus, you, like, slide up that difficulty and then the rewards go up or whatever the case is, like, if there's, like, an incentive to pushing something up or down that becomes part of the game, then I think that's fine too, right? So, I'm reminded of like going into the options and tweaking that stuff is perhaps less fun than in Hades, where you're doing like heat, and you're putting on heat challenges where you're like, oh, it's part of the game to tweak these little things. Actually,
well, it's with a game like Doom, I feel like tweaking on these kinds of settings is like kind of self-defeating, because like, okay, so I want to dial in how fast I want the game to be. Right. And I want to dial in the parry timing, and I want to dial into my taste. So what is my option here? Play through an entire mission with my new settings, decide, oh, you know what? I really overdid it. Should I continue on with different settings that have different enemy layouts and different challenges and realize actually I underdid it this time? Or should I replay the mission I just played with the new setting? Like, how long should I be spending to dial it in?
I mean, if they drop you into... Sounds like a reason to like drop you into the void with one demon to just like see what the feeling is when you tweak a setting,
Also, and I'm sure someone in the chat can clarify this, because I'm at like 60% on the parry thing, whatever ultraviolence does. I don't think that the minimum parry timing is probably still extremely generous by like my standards.
Yeah, well, so I guess
it would make very little difference.
Now, are you completely breezing through Expedition? Right? Or are you finding some challenge in the parries?
Expedition, I am ping-ponging between breezing and challenging.
Okay. Because if you
strange curve.
Because if you sat here and said like, oh, I find no challenge in those parries, and I'm like, well, then you're just a parry god compared to all of them, us mere mortals. Because like
I know, I turned Expedition up to expert because I wanted to fight more.
Yeah. I would say too that the fuck, god damn it, I just had the point. Brain soup. Anyway, sliders in the case with Doom or so, like, fuck, oh, that's what it is. So the idea of like having to play through the level and everything like that, like, this is where now a Armored Core just going like, hey, you're slightly tweaking the percentages on a slight little gun on your slight little loadout change. Jump into a little lab thing, see what that looks like. Okay, you like that feel? Okay, now go into the mission, right? Like a game like Armored Core is like saying tweak as gameplay, test here, now sortie, But if what you're describing is kind of just like an extensive list of things that are not necessarily a part of the game design, but are more just kind of like, I want to make this a bit
so there's a really good example of what I'm talking about. There's someone in the chat right now who points out that there are options to fix the issues that I'm having, to which I'm saying, no, I don't want to mess with those options. I don't want to fix it. I just want to complain. I don't enjoy tweaking it with sliders. That's actively miserable. And at what point do I feel that I'm like how much time do I want to spend dialing it in before I can make it feel as good as the 2 games they put out before? Right? Like I never for a second thought, oh, I wish this was faster, or I wish the jump timing, or I wish this was different on Eternal or 2016 or Doom 1 or 2. The only game I can ever think of in the entire Doom franchise that I ever sat around going, man, I would really like to change this, was Doom 3, because I think the flashlight shit they had there was fucking stupid.
No, so look, I love custom difficulty settings, and I think that's great, and I think more games need to have that and lean into that. But I understand the feeling of I don't want to make it myself. That's a reasonable way to feel.
It takes time to actually dial it in. Like somebody in here actually mentioned, how do I feel about Wrath of the Righteous? Because Wrath of the Righteous, the Pathfinder RPGs, they have super in-depth sliding scales for difficulties. And the way that it works is you pick, like, I want normal, easy, casual, or whatever, and then it shows you what sliders it's changing. But if you're like, I don't want critical hits anymore, you can turn that off. And if you had to ask me how I feel about like the sliding scale difficulty options in Wrath of the Righteous, my actual response would be, it would be really nice if Pathfinder Kingmaker and Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous had a single well-balanced difficulty setting in their entire fucking series of settings. Every single fucking difficulty option in those games is too much or too little.
And you have to tweak things.
And you kind of have to go into the sliders to turn it up or turn it down, because easy is a cakewalk and normal is brutal. And it's like, can you not just make a good difficulty, please?
So there's definitely a confidence you want the developer to go into, like the way they're making a game with this stuff and release it, feeling good. The difference that I think is important here is when we talked about Hi-Fi Rush when it came out and about Expedition 33 right now, it feels good. But even like the thing of like, I want more fights, where you're like, okay, let me crank that up a bit, or the rhythm and the musical element of Hi-Fi Rush kind of coming into play. Those are things where, unlike Doom, they were released as their own original first entries into their franchise. And Doom, you're comparing to the last two Doom games you played, right? Yeah. So if this were a brand new thing on its own without any other comparison points directly, it would probably be a little different for like, go in, change this setting, tweak that way, or tweak this particular thing for the feeling. But because you're straight up going like, I hope this is more fun than Doom Eternal, then you're attached to that part as well. I think that makes a difference.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think like, I think in terms of like levels, enemies, weapons, etc., I think it's just like slightly worse than Eternal. But I think most of my lack of excitement is like, I prefer dashing and double jumping and glory killing more than I appreciate parrying or throwing that shield.
Okay.
And I think at the end of the day, like that's kind of the...
Yeah, I might not. We'll see. Sounds interesting.
Also, the game's too expensive.
Yeah.
If the game shut my PC off when I turned it on, $89.99 is too expensive.
No, 120.
It's an id Software game. It should be the most immaculate presentation possible.
120 Canadian dollars to play it a day early does not sound like my...
Oh, no, not 120. 128.99 plus tax.
Excuse me. My mistake. To play it a day early is not reasonable.
I right now in the early access part, I assume there's going to be a day one patch tomorrow. I was beta testing it last night, like overtly. And I got in touch with somebody who informed me that this game is coming in super hot, and they threw as many bodies as they possibly could to get it out by the date it was. And maybe they didn't round off enough of the technical edges that they should have.
Doom as a franchise, 2016 and Eternal have teased the big mech as a cool thing. Have you piloted the mech?
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
It's a fairly simple section. The mech doesn't have a lot going on, but I mean, it's fucking cool.
Okay. Like
there's also a dragon sequence in which you ride a dragon, and it's kind of like Panzer Dragoon.
Sure. Yeah.
And there's not a lot going on, but it's cool.
Yeah, jump like Ito Impact. Let's go. Just punch, chain, giant step, do cool things.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's more or less for me. You can catch more of my bullshit continuing on with Doom and Expedition 33 over at twitch.tv/PatStaresAt. Also, this weekend, Paige and I are going to be going back to Deltarune chapters 1 and 2, because that Deltarune is on the horizon. And we played that shit a long time ago. A long time ago.
Sorry, I just had a thought on Doom that like
go for it.
No, just throughout that conversation for everything, like one of the biggest clouds above it is just the fact that like the music thing, man, because like not only is it just it sucks with Mick Gordon, but it's also like, man, that was like some of my favorite shit that he put out. Like it was so instrumentally a part of like how cool the first games felt, and you know,
it is really strange that I had to go into the options and turn the music
bummer.
up. It is weird.
Yeah.
It is strange.
Like,
there are a lot
like,
of little pieces here that feel like maybe they could have gone for another pass.
Anytime like some games the music is tied to the identity much stronger than others, and like this is fucking one of them, man, you know. Anyway. All right.
Or go down to twitch.tv/patstairs. Do more content. Enjoy more content.
Gonna post a schedule up on Woolly Wolves on my socials, and Woolly Versus on YouTube and Twitch. Quick break?
Yeah, let's do a quick break.
Here, babe. All right, quick word from our sponsors.
Hey, I love you, sponsor.
My eyeball, my eyelid's twitching. I need to.
Oh no.
That keeps. Yeah, apparently that's it's caffeine, stress, or sleep. So.
Well, it's probably all three, right?
Yes.
So here's the thing though. If you want to crank it up, you'll look really cool before you look really bad.
If I could
Like
just,
you'll look like totally done with everyone's shit, and then you're gonna look like everyone's shit is done with you.
if I could just like concentrate it so that both eyes twitched at the same time, then I'd be fine.
I don't think that's true.
It's currently my right lid is twitching, and I need it to be both.
Yeah, I got like a weepy eye on my left sometimes. Gotta be some kind of allergy thing.
Sponsors this week. The podcast is sponsored by Hero Forge Custom Miniatures. So, they are. So I've been seeing people post their like cool Hero Forge creations, like just out in the wild. Actually, people have been making characters and adding little details and trimming them as well. It's a pretty powerful character customization tool, but the main thing, of course, that you're doing with Hero Forge is it's the perfect way to print miniatures for your tabletop games. So you've got a ton of like editable areas. You can edit like the face customizer is a new feature they've got with tons of details where you can go into like the scalp, the eyebrows, nose, and jawline. You know, if you want to get a really precise face, you can check that out. Um, or if you're going for something a little quicker, you can build based on presets, sliders. You can add control pads. You can fine tune or just go through the options, switch your poses up right away, and yeah, make a whatever your customization needs are for your tabletop campaigns. You can print out like color detailed, like fine printed detailed aspects of it. The material uh, you are printing with, they have premium plastic minis that are up to 35 by 30 by 30 microns. So every feather on your griffin will look sharper than ever. And yeah, you can go and you can print the plastic minis, of course. They've also got acrylic standees, so um, if you want to, you can also just go with that. It's a little more budget friendly option of like a standee of like a flat printout of what your figure is as well. And you can go super all in with the kit bashing mode where you can add tons of accessories and parts and mix and match from multiple different models to get like the exact monster or wild kind of created figure that you need. And I have shown before, but I got a little it's I gotta change the focus every time, but little monk Wooly over here
Oh my goodness.
came out pretty cool.
That does look pretty cool, man.
Yeah. So shout outs to Hero Forged. And you can go check them out. Let's see here. Where was I pull it up. Yeah, you want to visit heroforge.com to start designing your custom miniature today. And check back often. The new content is added every week. Once again, that's heroforge.com. And if you use the code CASTLE, you'll get 5% off all orders of physical miniatures. So get in there. Use CASTLE at the checkout, and you're going to get 5% off all physical miniatures. Thank you, Hero Forge.
Thanks, Hero Forge.
This week, the podcast is brought to you by Shopify.
Oh, hey, Shopify.
Cha-chang. That's an old cash register. The idea of it represents a sale. And yeah, if it's a commerce platform that is going to help you get online, get your business connected, and if you want to figure out how to, take it to the next level, expand, find a way to grow your shop from your first to your millionth sale, Shopify is behind you for every step of the way. You are talking about the brand behind, the platform behind brands like Mattel and Gymshark. They are able to help you get started with your own design studio. They got ready-to-use templates if you're trying to build your online store to match your brand style. They got a lot of options for you to pick from right off the bat. Not to mention the you can easily connect again to all your social media. You can easily create social media campaigns, plug your shop in, and see where folks are scrolling and clicking on your stuff. And they've got world-class support that you can that's award-winning, that you can tune into and check and keep track of your inventory, so you can figure out, where you're shipping across the world to who wants to buy what and where stuff's hitting. It's a very complex thing to initially figure out, how to sell a t-shirt, for example, which is something that we would do over here. But with Shopify, you can make that very simple and grow your business from any size and start selling today. So, turn your business ideas, make them a reality with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial. Start selling today at shopify.com/superbeast. One more time, go to shopify.com/superbeast. SHOPIFI. Excuse me. SHOPIFY.com/superbeast. Thank you, Shopify.
Thanks, Shopify.
This week, the podcast is sponsored. We got a new one.
New sponsor.
Yes, Shady Rays. That is the independent sunglasses company that is got good shades that are perfect for the summer season coming up ahead. Hey, I have
That's so cool that they had the name Shady Rays.
Shady Rays is a great name for a sunglasses company. It's great. I have found myself walking outside without doing the apt amount of preparation. I kind of take a look at the weather and I'm like, all right, let's go. I see that. Let's start walking. And then I get hit with the lasers. I get hit with the sun blinds me. It attacks me.
Man,
it's the Mario 3 sun.
You know what's the worst? You walk out of the house and you don't have your sunglasses and you're like, oh, I'm getting blasted. Oh, I don't know what to do. But I'm going to manage. I'm an adult. Right. And then you get like maybe, I don't know, a couple 100 feet in and you're like, oh, shit. I didn't put the flap down on the carriage. And you look down at the kid and the kid's going, oh no, baby. Damn it. You're like, I should have gotten the baby Shady Ray sunglasses.
Everyone's under attack. Everyone is under attack. You have to protect yourself from the sun 100%. Yeah. And, you want to get outside, you want to get that fresh air, but you don't want the laser focused Z-targeted damage that comes from the sun to hurt you.
You know what? The sun can chill out.
It's the ultimate AoE, right? The sun is the ultimate AoE. It's so we need protection. Shady Rays got you covered with some premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. They're an independent sunglasses company. They got world-class products rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. And durable frames, crystal clear optics, make them perfect for all your outdoor adventures. So check them out. They got hundreds of options you can choose from. You're definitely going to find something that matches your style. And they have a really insane protection in all of their eyewear. Every pair is backed by a lost or broken replacement. So yeah, if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. That's done.
Huh.
And if you don't love them, you can exchange them for a new pair or return it worry-free within 30 days. So no risk when you shop. You can try that out and see how you feel. So prepare for war against the sun today. Our listeners can check them out if you Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. If you head to shadyrays.com and use the code SUPERBEAST, you'll get 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try them for yourself. See why they've been rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Once again, that's shadyrays.com and use the code SUPERBEAST for 35% off polarized sunglasses. The solar wars start now.
Thanks, Shady Rays.
Thank you. And this week, the podcast is brought to you by ExpressVPN.
I used ExpressVPN quite effectively just this past weekend.
Ah.
I was extraordinarily happy with my time using the ExpressVPN.
There you go. I was using it just a couple days ago myself, actually. Yes. But
did you know that SNL is terrible? It's true.
Did you know that you're not allowed to watch it for your own safety?
I did. You know what? Mistakes were made.
There is a let's see here. Going online without ExpressVPN is like forgetting to mute yourself on a Zoom meeting. Do you really want your coworkers to hear you trash talking them? Or flushing the toilet? I mean,
hey, bro, I want to give my chat a shout out because when Doom crashed my PC and every single aspect of my setup was frozen, chat on my phone told me that I was actually totally still live and they could still see me and they could still hear me.
That's crazy.
So I appreciate that because I was frustrated. I was about to go off.
That's pretty.
And then I was like,
nuts.
okay, hold on. Maybe we can hold on that for a second.
Yeah. Don't worry, y'all. I was just frying some chicken.
Check out how hard I can fry this chicken, buddy. No?
Or you can go stealth mode and like aim for the side, you know?
Like
nighttime mode. Listen. The point is that all your traffic flows through the servers of your ISP, and including your mobile network providers, and ExpressVPN reroutes 100% of your traffic through secure encrypted servers. So your ISP, they can't grab your browsing history. They can't have you targeted for ads. They can't be selling that. And you can also protect yourself from identity theft. Very easy to use. Makes it very difficult for third parties to track your online activity. Extremely difficult, that is. You just click one button and you're protected on your phone, laptop, tablet, and more. You can stay private on the go. And yeah, even an optional dedicated IP service engineered with innovative zero-knowledge design. Not even ExpressVPN can trace an IP back to the user with that. Wow. So rated #1 by top tech reviewers like CNET and The Verge. Get in there. Protect your online privacy today by visiting expressvpn.com/superbeast. That's expressvpn.com/superbeast to find out how you can get up to 4 extra months for free. expressvpn.com/superbeast. Thank you.
Love you, ExpressVPN.
Okay. So,
man, when you said stealth mode and piss into the side, I got confused and thought you meant like into like the trash can next to the toilet. Because that would be the most quietest of all.
No, that's the loudest thing ever.
No, because it's got like
cushions
toilet paper rolls in there to absorb it.
Oh yeah, but then it's not. No, that's
and
not.
You got your Funkos in there.
That smell is not going to be very stealth.
No, that's not stealth at all.
No. You need to like compensate. Check your angle and then compensate for the streamline by having it hit the curve and to be as silent as possible.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
It requires visual calculus. All right. What's going on? As far as I'm concerned, our top story today is, have you seen this fucking Soul Calibur 2 shit?
I have. I'm so glad.
This is our top story.
I'm so glad that this has come back from high school lunchtime to now.
Do you recognize, is this a video from the past? No.
No,
Okay.
it's brand new.
Okay. But
I've seen tons of many new videos also.
Okay. This thing, there's a Soul Calibur 2 parody intro video. I've retweeted it on my it's out there.
It's incredible.
It reminds me of the old internet.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It reminds
100%.
me, it's so funny. It's just 2 minutes of someone doing a Soul Calibur 2 narrator intro, doing funny jokes over the narrator talking, and timed and just executed in a way where it feels like I'm watching something from 2003. Like, this is what the internet used to actually be. It was great.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't know what to, like, it's noteworthy because I didn't know how much I missed just clicking on things like this back in the day.
Hey, you kids now, you actually don't know this. The internet used to actually be funnier.
It's just all concentrated, timed. It's that same era of gags that worked with like the way I edited Fighterpedia together. You
Absolutely,
know?
100%.
Fate places his hands on the rim of the bowl and releases his fate into the toilet of time. Blah, you know? Horror,
it's great.
Horror spreads like a raging tempest, like 1,000 fursuits storming the halls of a Marriott hotel. You know, I'm just like, yes, take me back. Two souls stand like towers as fate crashes into the just moving on. You know, it's great. It's great. Your homework today, everybody, is to go watch this video and just enjoy. You know, yeah. Trapped in a small cage with 6 children and nothing to eat, he emerged 3 days later, victorious as the lone survivor. Battle won.
I think the one that gets me and really like sent me over the edge was just, I'm not reading that one.
Yeah.
And then the intro just cuts.
And it's the press start noise also abruptly cutting them all off. It's perfection.
It's fantastic.
It's so well done.
Soul Calibur 2, still the best Soul Calibur game.
Oh God. It
will never be like that again.
I mean, the one that went viral was not properly credited, but the stuff 4 and 5 is the creator of the video. So kudos to just reaching right back into the internet we remember and giving us a reminder of a better time, you know? All right. What else is going on? Well, back to the modern day. Hey, you like Berserk?
How are other fighting games doing in the world?
Oh, we can go there too. Sure. That's all right.
I mean, Evo Japan happened, but also like there's SNK news.
There's a couple things. So for one, well, how about that fucking Wolf Hawkfield?
Wooly.
Back.
I saw a comment. I think it was on, I don't know where it was, but it gave me like a dear like spark of joy in my heart when I saw someone go, are they making this game exclusively just for Pat?
I mean,
like Akira had to be the first. Akira was always going to be the first.
Yes.
But then Wolf, my boy Wolf,
is the second top billing. And he gets this sick ass WWE style intro where he's basically like Undertaker biker mode now.
Yeah.
Like he's part of the pack. You know?
He's like the pack broke up.
Yeah. In the time that has passed, you see him coming out with the beard, and he's been through a whole wrestling arc.
Rufalmonger has a fantastic. There's 2 videos he put out going over the trailer, but Rufal correctly points out that this singular teaser trailer for Wolf is more story than this character has gotten combined in their entire
history. Oh my god. There's a voiceover with an announcer telling you his story and everything you've missed. And
These
100.
like 6 lines of dialogue
That's
is
it.
more than Wolf has ever had since 1993.
Like, Jeffrey was out to catch that fish. I cannot tell you if he ever caught it.
He did, but I believe he discovered that the one he caught was actually a smaller devil shark and not the one he was after. And then the correct devil shark killed his boat again. I think that's how that
amazing
went.
Amazing. And yes, it's not just more than he's ever had, but it's rad. It's awesome because I'm like, that's a real wrestler, right?
Oh yeah, he's got a knee brace on.
Oh, I didn't notice. Okay.
Yeah, he's got a Stone Cold style knee brace on because he's old.
He's old, yeah. Again, I'm looking at him, I'm seeing like Taker, you know what I mean? I'm seeing that thing of like, imagine being from like the young wolf with the ponytail, and then you go through like a couple of you go to a failed faction, you go through all of that, and now your gimmick is just like, man, this is who I am off camera. I'm just the same guy, you know?
There's so much detail in his character. Like, we didn't get the best look at Akira because he's fairly muted, but like you can even tell that Wolf like isn't doing the best job dyeing his hair.
Oh man,
because the tips are still black.
Just all Ganondorfed out with that beard. Yeah, oh, I really hope that when he does his moves, you see him struggle a bit.
Just a little,
right?
Just like
favoring one of his legs, kind of like
just favoring his right leg.
Yep,
yeah, absolutely.
Botching a little bit, you know. The damage is the damage, but just put it in the animation.
Oh, that'd be so good. Very little news about Virtua Fighter other than that.
They're
them showing off just Wolf makes me feel, boy, is this going to be far away. Oh man, that is not coming out this year.
They did confirm the the cross-platform release of
Revo.
Of Revo, yeah. So that's
which thank God it needs it. Holy fucking hell.
Yep.
Holy hell does it need it.
You need every player base on every console playing together to buff those numbers
to make one regular video game's worth of player population.
Hey, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. So that's awesome. And then we got to take a look as well. So what happened? Okay, so before all of this weekend, Harada came out to talk about online. He tweeted out that the balance team basically has been completely replaced. So everyone that was doing the balance for season 2 has been just I think rotate, like some people are saying, oh, they all got fired. I'm like, no, I don't think that's what he said, but I think
no, they got rotated out,
right? So they didn't just fucking cast them to the winds or so, but it's like, we're gonna bring in the old team back for this, and yeah,
people who knew what the fuck they were doing.
There you go. Not out the airlock. And has been kind of saying that, like, so hopefully things are looking up in the future, and they announced everything. They showed off some stuff, and then they announced,
they're like, listen, I'm well aware that you're unhappy with the second season, but I know what's gonna turn it around for you guys. This crushed tub bag of walnuts in a giant condom coming right at you. It's fuck your mom.
Bakum Ram returns, and I want to say that someone like really early saw like the country code somewhere in looking at the data, so they were able to see, they saw Poland and they saw Thailand, so they were able to be like, oh yeah, that pretty much confirms, but Bakumram's back, and yeah, just the drops from space, or whatever, in the giant like a containment machine, and then he's in there. It's it's presented like a jump scare, and it's so funny because the way, like, I think watching everyone's response to that has just been like, oh dear God, no, please no, why? Because it's like, okay, there's different camps on it. Some people are kind of like, I just don't like the character because he's over designed and there's too much going on, and it's really, really like,
someone call him Timu Sagat.
Sure.
I was like, oh man.
The overcompensating response to Lucky Chloe, right? Is in just the biggest, brawliest, like insane overbuff dude. And then some folks were just saying like gameplay wise, he represents when like stuff started going off the rails in T7. You know.
Oh,
so,
what? Oh, good. Oh, excellent.
So there's that part of it, and then there's those who are just like, man, I just want Bruce, you know, and I just don't think we're ever gonna get Bruce again. Because
no, you're not.
Bruce was kind of just a martial arts guy. He was just
He was a normal. He was Kazuya's bodyguard, and that was it. That's his story.
Bruce Irvin. He's a Muay Thai champion, and he's just a dude. And everyone was like, not everyone, but like a lot of people for years have been like, damn, where's Bruce? That was cool. And you know, they're pretty much, it's like, nah, like this is kind of the replacement, I guess. So yeah, not the best reception to him returning of all the returning characters you'd expect to see here. Something that I did see that like I think I might have missed this early on, but with the way he's designed, I saw some concept art of like an alt version of him that was much more like human proportioned, and it looked awesome. And it was like, oh, that would have worked. So I'm gonna see if I can find it here. Yeah, if you Google Fakumram concept art and you look at the orange prison jumpsuit variants of him, you'll see like a Muay Thai fighter in like a prisoner outfit, and like kind of just looks like a pretty cool tattooed up jail Muay Thai fighter. You know, it's cool.
Looks like a human being.
Yeah. And I definitely would have dug, you know, that alt version if that's what we got.
Oh well, a lot of these concepts are terrible. Oh my god.
I like the human proportioned prisoner garb one. I think that one's cool. With the chains and stuff.
Wow, like most of these are god awful. Holy shit.
But
okay.
I'm mainly to say that I think we have better than the final pick on that, in my opinion. I think there's stronger contenders than the final. You know.
I don't know. This is not something I think I've ever said about any character in my life, but Fuckumrun's skin looks like visual noise.
Yeah, so that's the
like
thing.
The tattoos and the texture and the scars and the vascularity just make it look like a bag of crushed up walnuts. It's so fucking weird.
It's really hard to make out details because of it's all scarred up. It's all of those things combined. Exactly. Yeah. And it creates a visual noise difficult to parse detail, especially when the lighting is low. But in any case, that's what's going on there. We got a trailer for Young Ladies Don't Play Fighting Games.
Fucking cool.
Sick. Been waiting on that. Heard good things. And this one is now tied in with Street Fighter 6, which you see the footage directly in and stuff. So like, yeah, like there you see like the most detailed hands on a stick animations of them pressing buttons and like tapping drastically. Imagine Light eating the potato chip on the arcade stick style animation, you know.
And now that you can use gameplay footage for like a lot of the action, you can just spend all your animation footage on like she looks over at me.
You can.
She tap a button.
But and that being said, the animation that they did that for the show does look good, you know. But yeah, very excited to see that. I want to see the dubs and edits too, to like, let's fucking go.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, memes waiting to happen. Yeah, we got those. What else was going on? So like, I think I mean,
so the SNK CEO is gonna step down. That's like this morning.
I missed that story. What's going on?
Okay, so May 12th, 2025, SNK Corporation announces leadership transition and advisory role for Mr. Kenji Matsubara. Blah 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 blah. Apparently, City of the Wolves has done really, really badly
Okay.
economically, especially in the face of its incredibly huge marketing budget.
2 hours ago. Okay, I
And
see it.
and as a result, the CEO is going to fall on his sword instead of the guy who was directly above him, who actually made all the decisions that led to that.
Yeah, so,
It's weird because CEOs are usually where the buck stops, but in this highly specific case,
no.
there are people directly above the SNK CEO
But
who are way more likely at fault for everything negative to do with this game.
but that's not SNK anymore. Now you're going to EGDC, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the highest that it gets as far as the name SNK is concerned. Everything above that, you switch over to those who own the shares. Okay. So I didn't see this, but I'm looking at it now. What I did see was the numbers for sales in Japan. Like it came in 10th last week because it was like 6,000 in Japan or so, which is
Yeah.
like
And
pretty low.
its Steam peak is like lower than Unionized. It's like 4,000.
Hmm.
Like we don't have
Um,
exact numbers, but like it's doing extraordinarily poorly, and it had a crazy amount of money marketing.
so the
Like
market,
they were advertising it all over like WWE.
yeah, the marketing shit is nuts, and like favors were certainly called in, as we can see across the board there. I'm curious to see what the non-Japanese sales numbers look like. To I don't know if the reports are in on that yet. This was like this is basically like a Liam gig back in the day, like looking at all the sales numbers here.
Yeah, he would just dig through that shit. It was super useful. The
Yeah.
best you're gonna get in English is the Steam charts,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're bad. Like that's not the total sales because there's consoles and all that,
Active.
but like it gives you a general barometer
Mm-hmm.
for sales in the West, and it's like,
Yeah. Well, okay. I have to read all of this and see what's going on and get the full story
I'm
right
being
now.
informed by chat that there are like multiple tournaments totaling up millions of dollars in prize money.
Oh yeah, no,
incoming.
There's they did announce a huge $1.5 million grand prize for an upcoming.
This game
tournament.
isn't going to make $1.5 million
in sales.
No,
I
after marketing.
I think, but I think whatchamacallit. So I think it said 1.5 for the first place, and then another one, so 2 total for the prize pool, because there's more.
This game's not gonna make $1 after marketing.
Yeah, although, so here's the weird part: is like it's like, okay, marketing cost, but like, what is a marketing cost when it's like, hey, you work for me, you go do this, right?
I don't know, man.
Like it's like
usually you still have to have the interim companies buy from each other.
Oh no, I obviously, like, some billable hours for going and promoting something is 100% there. But I like the amount of stuff that's like, favors and friends and names called in. Like I see like a Steve Aoki track on the the music and stuff, and you're like, right, was that at cost? Was that, calling in a favor? I assume it's calling in a favor. I assume that if you go to perform, like you reach out and you go like, hey, you want like help me here, and then we'll whatever. But anyway, the I'm gonna need to kind of go look and see what the details of the story are with like who's involved and what's stepping up here, because I do remember when new SNK. Anyway, there's a history of names and people in charge of different teams and stuff that I'm curious to see what's going to happen now afterwards. I also know that there were plans for a Samurai Showdown RPG and talks of doing something with Art of Fighting that they announced. I don't think it was necessarily. I don't think they announced a fighting game per se, but they did announce.
I don't think Art of Fighting is gonna. I don't think that's gonna happen.
I'm curious to see what. what they make of all this. But it's also something weird because, like, okay, when we're normally describing any time a game comes out and like it's just like when its performance is poor and or it doesn't sell or it doesn't get the momentum behind it, you go, damn,
Yeah.
you're going to see things start shifting immediately. And obviously an SNK CEO
No,
stepping
everything
down
takes forever.
but an SNK CEO stepping down this quickly after release is definitely is indicative, right? But I also have the feeling of like it doesn't feel the same because when it's kind of like someone's personal bank account, there's a bit of that like, yeah, this can be lost, this can lose money for longer than other things can if I personally am down to just let that sit and happen. You know what I mean? Like it feels like it's when it's personally tied in. It's just not the same thing as any other indie company or any other not indie but mid-sized studio making a bigger release for their efforts and things not working out.
What do you mean exactly?
I mean when a mid-sized studio releases a game, there's oftentimes an all or nothing. If this doesn't work out, it's going to shut down.
Yeah.
Type of gambit.
You think of somebody who loses it entirely out of their personal bank account would be less upset than the shareholders?
No, I just mean that the idea of the company evaporating is different when someone personally can just be like, no, we're not doing that.
I'm over here just like actually being like, well, I'm glad that the solution to this problem was the CEO stepping down instead of stepping into a grave.
There is certainly yeah.
Because that's what we're talking about sometimes over on this.
Yeah. Fair enough. I think that the ability for anything relating to whatever the Saudi Arabian investments are to just sit there and like kind of exist regardless of numbers in a way, like there's a whole lot of like spite money that can tank results is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it would be nice to get some good SNK news for the first time in like when did KOF 13 come out?
I mean, the closest the closest thing to that is that like the game is good. They made a good fighting game. It's marred with.
I'm
all
glad
that,
you enjoy it.
Yeah, I would say that it takes more. Like unfortunately, it takes more than that to be the perfect sequel to like a classic, and one of those things need to be obviously not fucking marred with horrible forced decisions and rapists in the game, etc.
So this is incidental, this is anecdotal, but I spoke to somebody who has friends that watch wrestling but don't play fighting games, and they asked them, why are they shilling this gacha game on WWE?
They thought it was a gacha game.
Yeah, because there wasn't enough actual like detail there for them to not know it wasn't like a Hoyoverse thing or whatever. That is ineffective. That is money in the toilet. You should have used that advertising money for literally any other purpose.
It's interesting to compare this to something that was much more modest, like Samurai Showdown, where I really enjoyed that game as well. And it came out and it certainly did not set the world on fire sales-wise, but it also was not targeting such a high number, and it wasn't marketed through the roof. It kind of was like, hey, this is a odd other choice, and it'll be available on Epic Game Store if you want. It's on fucking Netflix. It'll just be everywhere. It's on Switch, and it's this kind of like off to the side, off the beaten path fighting game that's pretty cool. But it's not the same as like making a really good game, but then like setting the the offset through to the stratosphere because of how hard you're pushing, right?
Yeah, I think like I feel like every 2 months we discuss how everybody in the video games industry is like, so if we put like $10 into the game, we'll all get $20 back, right? And so if we put in $1,000,000, we'll get $2,000,000 back. So
I
why don't we
mean,
put $1,000,000,000 into it?
look, like I will say that like Sam's show certainly did well enough for them that they continued into its like third season and then added guest characters from For Honor and Biken and all these other people that showed up, you know, like that.
Yeah, For Honor Man was there. That's
Yeah,
true.
that game had a long tail and it continued getting ported elsewhere, and it was around for a while, you know, while the circuit happened and stuff. Like there was an initial push, but then even afterwards, I was surprised to see seasons and seasons of content come out, you know. So like that's kind of just like letting SNK do their thing as opposed to getting your fingers in the mix and forcefully, you know, doing all that bullshit. So yeah, it's a similar approach to the the product they put out, but the amount of meddling that you see is night and day. Whereas and like the core thing that the core game itself from the people making the fighting game, they did the same good job, but you know, here you get to see the impact and the results flub immediately. In any case, yeah, I kind of wonder like when it comes to like, you know, obviously announcing seasons for these things or whatever, you commit to at least however much time of that game's, you know, content and tour and all that stuff. I kind of wonder if that comes to an immediate abrupt end as soon as the currently announced stuff
Yeah,
wraps
that
up
would
or not.
be the how you would know.
We'll see. Okay, so
We also have that Strive shit.
leaks. Yeah, so
Did we talk about that last week?
I don't think so. No.
No, I talked about it on my show. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Somehow the Strive source code got leaked, which is pretty bad, and
It's the
they have
overwhelming feeling of someone stole a laptop.
That's what it sounds like, because what came out of it is the early 2019 build of the game, and then the version of the game that is not yet out yet, including DLC that has not yet come out. And you know, on the one hand, it's like there's the people that are able to go play what the original version was and show off stuff there. Then there's people that are looking at the current character from the show, and there's like spoilers in the in-game version of the character and stuff. So there's like weird like story plot fuck up shit happening. And then above all of that, there's, as soon as source code exists for a game, that's really bad, because that gives people who want to do malicious things the ability to do so if they are, you know, so inclined.
It's a bummer.
Yep. Oh, I forgot to mention last week. Damn it, this is a weird place for this. I watched the movie Sinners.
Breaking news: Wooly did watch a movie.
It's good. It's a lot of fun. Ryan Coogler did some cool shit. Check that out. I didn't know. Just all I remember is the trailer for it showing off like 2 Michael B. Jordans, and I was like, "What's going on over here?" Okay, I don't know. Sounds interesting. I'm like, I saw 2 Michael B. Jordans, and then like them standing in front of a fire, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." And then upon closer inspection, it is a black musical from dusk till dawn, and it's awesome. It's a whole lot of fun. Good. There's definitely a lot to dig into if you're looking at the references and the music and the history and what's going on and stuff, but just go watch it. It's cool. That's there's not much else to say. It's a great flick, fun characters, and the main character who played Sammy, I believe, is like a debut actor as well, who's got like a very distinct, awesome voice. So I love that as well. That, like, you know, taking a you got to make a movie with a big star for an original movie to get made, but also like pushing new talent as well is awesome. Especially because like with when you have also the director, so he did Creed and he did Black Panther, so he was also able to do a really cool crazy deal where in 25 years the rights to the film returned to him.
Good.
So there's your retirement.
Excellent.
That's very smart. That's a good thing that directors should be able to do. Director, writers, people that are, if you can work that out, especially now that the film industry is not what it used to be, right? People are streaming, people are at home. They don't have to get up and go to a theater. So if you can make them do that, and this managed to do that in a way that's comparable to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like it means more now to get ticket sales than it used to. So fucking awesome job on that. Yeah, that's it. Go see Sinners. It's fun. Beyond that, do you like Berserk?
I don't like Berserk as much as you're about to tell me.
Do you like Berserk $150 for DLC costumes, Berserk?
No.
Okay.
Straight up, no.
So Diablo 4 is getting a Berserk crossover, and it shows
costs more than the game.
How much is the game?
Diablo now? Let me check. So this is 150 USD, right?
150 USD.
So the Diablo 4 is $67 Canadian. So let's say it's $50.
Okay, well there you go.
So it's
yeah, so there's a little bit of like point math on this though to get to 150, admittedly. So basically they showed off a trailer with there's like a Guts costume, you can get a mounted horse for a Griffith, and you can get the little demons, and the schnoz pet is there. All these little cosmetics to put on your characters, or you can get a Skull Knight armor for your necromancer and stuff. Great, cool, sure. Haven't seen a crossover since Dragon's Dogma 1, I think. Then they're like, okay, so in order to get it, the class specific outfits, you have to spend the premium currency, platinum. You have to buy 2,800, which equals $25 worth of platinum. And then to get the you got Guts armor, you've got the Struggler, you've got Griffith, and you've got Skull Knight. So you put that together, you get $100. Then you've got the Warhorse. That's going to take a little bit more. But because of the way that you buy platinum, the cheapest way to buy it all, instead of in these lump sums, which will end up having you stuck with extra points, the way to have the least amount of stack points afterwards is to buy a full $150 pack of platinum for 18,500, leaving you with 2,000 platinum left over once you're done. So that's how much Berserk costs in Diablo 4.
Yeah, I think part of the thing here is that I don't like fucking Diablo 4.
I like
Diablo 4 is a really genuinely unfortunate game, because it's one of those games where you're like, why would I play this one when I should instead actually just play the last one, which is just better objectively on every metric.
Well, there's that side of it. There's the Diablo side of it. And then on the Berserk side, Hidetaka Miyazaki has been so kind as to let you grab Guts' sword, put on his outfit, get a crossbow, do his big jumping berserker swing overhead slash,
fight 185 enemies inspired by the enemies the Guts fights,
look at a brand that's basically just the brand, as you go through this fantasy nightmare horror setting that is a love letter basically to Berserk.
Just play Dark Souls, just play Demon Souls, just play Elden Ring. And if you want to be really fancy, pretend that Sekiro is taking place a couple countries over from Midland.
Right. The Kushan Empire is right over there. Literally, you have your pick of the litter. You can pick which Souls game you want to just Berserk through. Yeah. So rough times. But that's not the only crossover that was announced.
No, it's not. Oh.
So Reggie came in and I was like, yo, did you see Overwatch 2 cross Street Fighter? And he's like, wait, what? And he pulls it up and he starts looking and he's looking through the Street Fighter news. And I was like, no. Street Fighter costumes in Overwatch. And he's like, man, shut the fuck. It just closed that shit and went back.
Dude,
it's like, oh, I don't give a shit.
I had the same exact feeling. I had the same exact interaction.
Like, oh,
new costumes for a Street Fighter game. What are you, stupid?
New Overwatch costumes in Street Fighter? Yo, let's go. Wait, no, it's the other way around. God damn it. Yeah. Collaboration trailer announced. And you get to see the outfits and stuff. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Okay, sure. Hanzo is Ryu running around. Juno is Chun-Li. Widowmaker is Cammy. I saw some folks going like, wait, that doesn't make sense. She's French and there's another British character that and it's like, no, but she's an assassin. Like, I get it. You know, they have the Kiriko is Juri, Soldier 76 is Guile, Sigma Bison, Winston Blanca, that's a no-brainer.
That one's easy, yeah.
Zenyatta as Dalsim, also a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I saw, like, from day one, I was like, look at this Dalsim energy right here, passing to the iris, yoga. But I'm disappointed at the lack of a very obvious slam dunk that is a Zarya Marissa is not a thing.
Yeah. No. Don't do it. It'd be interesting.
What I would say, though,
they will do anything to keep more costumes out of Street Fighter 6,
including pulling them away to put them in other games. But no, the most important collaboration, I would say, is that the Overwatch dev team just collaborated with each other.
Good for them.
Yes.
That's good.
Damn, these bitches unionized. Good for them.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Hopefully this results in positive results for them and development for Overwatch.
Yeah, after we told the story about the big super cross North American mega union, I kind of was like, you know, I hope that thing continues to grow as a backdrop threat, you know, in the industry. But because like there's a thing here where it's like anytime it's within the walls, then, you know, it is just as targetable. But overall, still, yeah, over 200 developers. Nearly 200 developers across the Overwatch 2 team at Blizzard are all part of the Overwatch Game Makers Guild CWA. So, cool. Oh,
yeah,
wait.
Good for them.
Oh, no. Hold on a second. Joining the Communication Workers of America. Oh, yeah, no, okay. This is the CWA is also the same part of that mega guild, the larger North American union we discussed in the past. So
great.
Awesome. Good stuff.
More y'all should do that shit. It's good. It's good to do.
I mean, they try and then they open up the trap door underneath them, you know?
Yeah, well.
Speaking of opening up the trap door, over at Microsoft, 6,840 people, aka 3% of their workforce, are being laid off.
So what are you raising the prices of games to do?
The times, you see, the economic hardships and the markets. Yeah. So another round of cuts. We also told this story in 2023. So literally it's just, you know, it's the same shit.
Yep.
But hey, yeah, $80 though. That's great. Good stuff. This is, you have your shot, you have your chaser, and you need your Triforce of the CEO's bonus payout.
Yeah.
And together, then you can get to the realm of the gods. and open up the Twilight realm. When we get that third news story, when we get that third news story about how much they got paid, we'll be able to see the future.
What a pile of shit.
Well, beyond that, the news last week was about Giant Bomb
disintegrating,
and it seems like the bomb has come back together because
Dan Reichert bought Giant Bomb.
Yeah, they just basically bought it back from Fandom and went, nah, give it. Great.
Giant Bomb is running Giant Bomb just back when Giant Bomb came out, and Giant Bomb was run by Giant Bomb.
Great.com. Great. Cancel the explosion, put it back together. We own it now.
That's actually a really good answer to the story. Hey, we don't like how you're running things. Fuck you. No, fuck you. Fine, have it.
Yeah,
okay.
If you can find the
numbers now.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's it. Anytime a studio was able to buy back the rights to a thing it owns, anytime an artist buys back the masters, anytime these types of things happen. And we just talked about like Coogler with the film, but that's sick. That's sick. Get your shit back.
They were all gonna go just make a new Giant Bomb anyway. But it's nice that they got to keep the wiki in the name.
You have to imagine Fandom kind of saw the writing on the wall there, right? And just went like, God damn it, they've already put up the sign that says now with blackjack and hookers.
Yeah.
Like, let's just...
Well, keeping just the name with literally everyone leaving would have had no value. So they might as well sell it and get some value out of it.
That's exactly it, right? Not to mention that, like, a double exodus and everything. It's like, yeah, you don't... Anyway, yeah, there's just no point to the name after that. Or it getting folded back into GameSpot, I believe, was also the part of the discussion. But, yeah. Quick break for a second.
Oh, okay, I'm a piss.
BRB. All right. Did I see here correctly? I guess there's a Spider Noir teaser that I guess hit the internet.
Yeah, Nick Cage. He's like, I'm gonna be Spider Noir.
You know what? Sure.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Like,
yeah,
feels like if you keep the lighting appropriately dark, you can do this pretty low budget. You know, have him jumping off the walls, and the webbing and web gunning stuff doesn't have to be crazy. Obviously, he can.
I think they should force Nick Cage to do all the action stuff and not train him.
Mm-hmm.
And no wires.
No, this needs to be low budget, black and white, just small sets. Like when he's going through the city on a rooftop or something, like it should be clearly like a projector, you know, and like,
absolutely,
you know, the like
I completely agree.
Adam West crawling up the side of a building style shit.
Absolutely.
There you go.
And when he falls down trying to do his thing, don't cut. Just keep rolling. Have the other stunt guy just awkwardly stand there and wait for him to get back up.
Perfection.
I want Nick Cage to do a really bad job, except when he's acting. Like, I want both Nick Cages in the movie. Does that make sense?
You want him to do a really good job in the role.
Like, I want like Wicker Man Nick Cage when it's time for Spider Noir to fight, but I want Matchstick Man Nick Cage when it's time for him to act.
Okay. The Rock Nick Cage.
No, Matchstick Men. Matchstick Men. Oh, that's a great fucking movie. I love that fucking movie.
Castor Troy.
No, where he's acting good. Where he's doing a good acting.
I don't have a whole lot of those in my brain. I'm sorry. The file is coming up empty. You know, Daddy from Kick-Ass.
He's not listening to me. It's like talking to a Nick Cage wall.
I haven't seen those movies then. I haven't seen the ones where he's acting in the good way. I've only seen the movies where he's acting Nick Cage. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, no, you seen Nick Cage.
You know, I heard he's good as the arms dealer, the Lords of War or so.
Can we get like no, not Gone in 60 Seconds, Nick Cage. No, shut up, people. You all shut up. Oh yeah, Ruthless Colada says I want Uncut Gems Adam Sandler and Jack and Jill Adam Sandler.
Oh god.
Depending on the scene.
Okay. Let's take some letters.
Hey, if you want to send in a letter, make it good. There was a fucking thread on subreddit recently that said, is it time for Pat to yell at people writing emails in again? Because after I went on a little tantrum, there was a genuine uptick in quality emails for like a couple of weeks. Please write a good email. Please, I beg of you. Please send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
Most of what tends to get filtered out is basically like extensions of how do I.
If a guy killed another guy on the moon with a rock, would that be fucked up or what?
No, that's great. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that. It's just, hey, what would you want Platinum to do? Or, hey, what would your stand be? Or, hey,
I would like Platinum to quietly.
How cool is Devil May Cry?
Walk into the ocean.
Like, questions.
And be free.
Like, somebody who, like, last heard or saw us do or say something 10 years ago, then just thinking of something and putting it out there and being like, I like this thing. And it's like, yeah, I don't think yes, no, I know. Yeah, Street Fighter, man. Cool. Like, you know, yes. 100%. If a guy killed a guy on the moon, that would be nuts. Damn.
That'd be nuts.
What do you use to do it?
A rock.
The flag.
That'd be fucked up.
All right. Here we go. Let's take one in from Fable White says, dear the last true esteemed video game journalists.
We're doing our best, everybody.
Expedition 33 has proven that you don't need an explosive budget to make a full experience that consumers will enjoy. which has come at the perfect time given the conversation of us already experiencing a very slow video game crash, which I agree is the case. It poses the question if Mega Studios should pivot to AA as a way of recouping costs, and what could possibly be, and how they could execute this with some major IPs. For example, if you could make a AA Final Fantasy game that was completely stylized in Amano's concept art as originally intended, therefore, you're not sacrificing the visual novelty of the beautiful work, and it doesn't require heavy graphics and processing of other expensive bits. So the question is, what quadruple or AAA game series would you love to see reworked as AA? And
all of them.
How could you see it work? I mean, the answer is truly all of them. If I had
all
to,
of them.
The first thing that comes to mind for like, I can't. It's weird because I haven't touched any of the recent ones, but I feel like Assassin's Creed could massively benefit from not being what it is and from just chilling, going back to the concept level and executing something a little more directed, a little more small, and a little more pointed in the promise of what the franchise is, which is like you can go different places in history and experience cool things. You know?
I would kill for getting an old style, like classic style Resident Evil that cost like $12 and some buttons to make every 18 months.
See, it's funny though, because like I guess I'm thinking of triple and quadruple A kind of like slop served, as opposed to like the RE games come out fairly infrequently, right? Like they wait.
Resident Evil games used to come out every year,
and now
and they used to be great.
2 per gen, you know.
And now we get 1 every 5 year, maybe, fucking whatever.
And like, they're doing, yeah, it's you know, it's become a different style of franchise. So I'm thinking of stuff that like, you know, hits that the again, like Ass Creed is like a great thing that comes to mind of like, there's anything where you're like, this is expensive and there's probably too many of these things, you know.
I think that like the number one easy would be Final Fantasy. I mean, this like we're talking about Expedition 33. Like, I would kill for Final Fantasy games to just be simpler and cheaper. And I mean,
I think they're willing
and focus more about the things I actually care about.
I think they're willing to do that, and I bet you at some point in the future you will see exactly what you described, which is like a Mega Man 9 style Final Fantasy game. It just won't be numbered as the big, huge release. It'll just be like a side thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like there's a willingness to do that, but not to treat it as like a proper big number, you know?
Can I reverse the question a little bit?
How so?
I have a series and franchise that is single or double A that I would think would be cool if they actually tried to make a triple A one once ever in the history of decades. It would be cool to see like a Pokemon game that looked like a video game in current year.
I saw a lot of people saying Pokemon on the side there, and I was like, I don't think Pokemon fits into the triple or quadruple A feeling category, because like Nintendo triple A is
different.
It's a different bar you're lowering. Yeah, like you're like Breath of the Wild, you're going, wow, Nintendo really tried. You know, they pulled out all the stops on that one, but that's not compared to the rest of the industry.
I just wanted to make fun of Pokemon there for a second.
Okay.
You know what? Actually, man, you know what I think we're gonna see? I think we're seeing it right now. I think we saw a company have ridiculous, massive success with a triple A and a game I would describe as quadruple A. Now going back and going, hey, we're gonna make double A games for a while, and it's From Software. Elden Ring was in development for so fucking long and was so big
that
From
recouping.
Software is now going, hey, maybe we're gonna fucking dial it back a little bit for a while,
yeah. We're in the cocooning phase, and they're allowed. You know, Elden Ring is an obnoxiously insane, unsustainable way to go. You did too much. We loved it, but holy shit, take a break. You're fine. Absolutely scale it back.
I mean, shit. When did Elden Ring
start?
Elden Ring development. Yeah, when did they start on that, man? They started right after Sekiro, which is 2019. And well, they probably started earlier, actually. Right? 2017. They started in 2017, and Shadows of the Erd Tree came out in fucking 2024. So they spent 7 years on Elden Ring in some fashion. I would want to work on something different.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of Elden Ring.
That's longer than the suggested career time, at a studio, if you're trying to, move up and work on different projects. What was it? Oh yeah, no, just when you mentioned Pokemon earlier, I was going to say that, like, I remember feeling that way a bunch, and around X and Y time, like we talked about it, because that was like the last one I actually like picked up and went in on. But the Legends series exists now, and I don't know how much those are like doing the game that we kind of hoped to get a long time ago, but they seem to be a full, like, step up from what the original Pokemon top-down sort of limitations were.
Yeah.
So
I think we're kind of in a weird situation for this, because, like, you and I, for literally the entire time we've been talking about shit on the internet, have been caught in the trap of, wow, that new thing looks really incredible. Wow, that looks so cool. While simultaneously going, but I'd actually be cool for PS2 games forever. Mm-hmm. Just, fix the, put out a higher resolution and make it run at a decent frame rate. But yeah, I'm good with PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games forever.
Mm-hmm. Indies are a really interesting case study, because they started out emulating retro games as a nostalgia thing, and now it's just a practical budget, and
it's practical.
Like,
it just has to look unique enough and visually appealing enough that you can see what's happening.
Shit coming out in 8 or 16 or 32-bit style sprites is like, yeah, no, that's an affordable way to make a game, and you can still tell great stories and do great things. It's totally
like, there's a first-person dungeon crawler that came out today that looks like a PS2 game. It just happens to run at a high frame rate and a good resolution, called Labyrinth of the Demon King, where it's like a From Software first-person dungeon crawler in, like, feudal Japan.
I never would have predicted this future, I thought,
and it looks like the grimiest fucking thing.
I thought that
was great,
that we would always be homaging, earlier generations and stuff, but I never thought it would just be like, actually, like, nah, this is an affordable way to develop games. Let's just stick here, Or you can go hard if you want to with it, and build on what those sprites are doing.
We don't need bump mapping. No one's ever needed it.
And when I see an 8-bit sprite that, like, gets, like, magically lit in an Octopath kind of way, I go, whoa! The sprite got lit!
Ray tracing is totally pointless. You know why I like ray tracing? Like, genuinely, as, like, the new push behind graphics? Because it's an easy thing to turn off and get an extra 30 frames.
I turned it on for a second in DMC5, and then I was like, okay, cool. We're good. Yeah. Bump mapping can be used effectively in some cases.
There's no reason to have anything but pre-baked lighting and blob shadows.
As somebody who actively was, like, working on game environment maps, and like, back when I was using and making textures in 3D Studio Max and stuff, like, we would use it to make some shit look a little bit better. But
you know what I mean.
I know what you mean in the modern context. Yes, 100%. It's not the same thing.
The Devil May Cry 3 Crimson mod is coming out today in, like, an hour or two. And that does a lot of stuff. I'm gonna cover it on the channel. But one of the things it does, it goes, hey, what if Devil May Cry 3 just ran at a slightly higher frame rate and had the interface redone to look like good at high resolutions? I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's all. Yeah, fine. DMC3 at a higher resolution and better frame rate and better UI. Okay, great, good.
one of the funniest things in Expedition 33 is how you go through the map in some areas, and it's so made for you to walk from outdoors into this cave, and you see the lighting change. But then if you
it's
run,
like Dark Souls 1, man.
and you see, and when you run backwards, it's like, no,
the
don't do that. Yeah. And like the bloom, and like you're blind. You're completely blind. It's like, you're not supposed to be here. Don't run backwards.
It's like when you walk through the door from the depths into Blighttown, and the game's entire lighting models go.
It's crazy,
to
right?
green.
And one time I was able to peek at the sky, and you saw the skylights shift out of position.
Oh yeah, it's great.
And the shadows slide around. It was so funny. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
That's fucking
it's not a realistic flight. Who gives a shit?
God. From cave.
Like one of the Kingdom Come Deliverance, I was playing that a bunch in the second game. One of the reasons the second game runs really, really well, considering it's showing like hundreds of fucking characters and all these super depth and forests, is it's all pre-baked lighting. They just made a lot of pre-baked lighting for like every significant time of day, so the game doesn't have to calculate lighting.
Done.
You save so much performance to just not do that.
100%.
Remember Shadow of the Colossus? Just had fake lighting. It just had a different light box if you were inside or outside. That's it.
Cook those fucking.
Fuck you.
Cook those textures, man.
That's all you need.
Cook that shit right onto the model. Hell yeah, I approve. I mean, look, Guilty Gear Strive is doing amazing things when every single individual character has their own rig for all situations.
Absolutely, it's crazy.
But we can't set that as a bar that people are gonna strive towards. Anyway,
womp womp.
Here's one coming in. Matt from Ottawa says, "Hey guys, was the rose tinted browser window, was the internet actually better 10 years ago, or am I just 34?"
Yeah, it was better. It was better. It was objectively better in every way.
Literally, go watch what I just described earlier today. Go watch the Soul Calibur 2 video. That I retweeted, and that's old internet. That's what it was.
Yeah.
In and out, funny. That's it. No AI generated.
AI nonsense didn't exist. Google search was aggressively better.
No SEO generated fake content. No click here to the next page for the slideshow.
Engagement was not the primary focus of all social media, which means fighting with people didn't get you the most amount of information or attention.
No guessing whether or not a bot or a human is the person behind what you're reading.
No, it was like objectively better.
The algorithm was based on certainly like what you clicked on and what was going on, but the idea of
it was like, did you click on it? Did you watch the whole video?
As opposed to what makes you mad so that you'll click on it more. Actually aiming to upset you. Auto scrolling based media where you sit back and watch and it feeds you whatever, and then your attention span gets destroyed as a result. Fuck that shit. It actually was. It actually was.
People who made memes really had to work at it. It took work to make your memes.
Sure. And if you made a shitpost video, you just uploaded it, and then that was that. You know, it was like it like you make you have your dumb Soul Calibur 2 gag, you upload that shit to game trailers, and fucking bang.
That's doing numbers, man.
Gangbusters. Start a career on that shit. You know? Indeed. All right. And let's take one more over here from Kai, who says, what's up, TK Yozansen and 2H into Heavenly? That's pretty good. I like that. What is the worst thing we lost in games due to them just not hitting? For me, for example, customizable combos and the roulette wheel of God Hand. I think if that game sold better, it would be the next Judgment Cut as a thing that action combat games must have. If God Hand were a bigger hit, the roulette wheel, I think yes. I've talked about it many a times, and so have you. The attaché case, the rotating, fitting your inventory into a fun little space, and using the grid effectively is so much fun. Love that shit. Wish more games did that. It's super, super enjoyable as a secondary thing to like fit shit neatly into place. And I'm not the only. I had an entire game design thought around that idea, and I'm not the only one. There's at least 2 or 3 other games that are just like rotating your objects in your briefcase on a grid.
It's got to be cheat codes.
Yeah,
it's got to be cheat codes.
You miss cheat codes?
Absolutely, 100%.
What about when there was an in-between era when it wasn't a cheat code, it was just a QA menu?
Yeah, that was good too.
Yeah, okay.
That was fun too.
Because it was literally just, this was not meant to be for the player. This was just like, if you hold these buttons on power, and then you get a fucking dev menu, you know? Shit you're not supposed to see.
So one of the things that people complain about like game boxes and physical media and all that shit. And it's like, by the time I switched over to digital media, all the charm of buying physical media had already evaporated. Like, I remember being able to buy a game, had a nice box that was made out of like decent quality plastic or paper, cardboard, and I would have time to read the manual the whole way home. And it felt like a fucking premium product instead of like the absolute cheapest piece of shit, like fake plastic piece of paper in the front end and the shittiest box ever.
Reading the booklet.
Like, well, okay, yeah, what am I missing out on by buying digital? The shittiest box ever?
Reading the color manual on the way home while you cracked open that plastic was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, but now we're just talking about the way people that used to buy, like, vinyls would, like, buy the vinyl and look at the art and whatever. It's basically just that, 100%.
You know what? I actually I have a controversial one, like very controversial. I think overall, a lot of game music has gotten way more forgettable since the Super Nintendo PlayStation 1 era.
Because now it's just a cinematic score.
Though the increased fidelity and ability to do a cinematic score has lent a lot of games away from having pure melody pieces. Mm-hmm. And melody is what catches in your head. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of bombastic ornamental scores kind of blends together. And so like you see how people like are crazy about the Halo theme, right? The Halo has a really strong, clear melody.
I know what you mean. I think what has happened is that the really talented composers have risen above and have created absolute fucking legendary tracks that we'll remember forever. I think like when a soundtrack hits, and like in the same way that like, you'll be humming Mega Man 2 and Chrono Trigger for the rest of your life.
I will, yes, that's true. Snake Man. Thank you. I know that's 3, but still.
And there was a particular era where you're like, I can't believe Sephiroth's theme has lyrics. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Right? There was that little in-between era of like, oh my God, it sounds real. But now that we're well over that stuff, it's like, no, there's incredible songs. And we were just talking today about Mick Gordon,
Well, here's the thing, right?
When we hear a Casey Edwards or a Too Mellow,
I think of like a Doom Eternal, and I think of All They Fear Is You. And I that riff lives in my fucking head, the start of that. And I also think about how we're playing through E33 right now. Mm-hmm. And like,
oh my God, I can't stop.
That fucking like this super intense melody focused soundtrack.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, 100%. It's you remember a lot of that. I think I think good game composers will focus on what you're describing. And games that don't will create a score that kind of just blends in, like you'll hear something that's like a violin is a powerful instrument that can be so memorable and strong in a scene. And in a lot of cases, when you hear it just kind of being played as a tone and not really necessarily.
Yeah, the violin in my video game soundtrack has to be on par or better than the violins in the background of Faint. And if they're not as good as that, then they have failed.
Sure. We can't get toxic everywhere, But no, but that's it. Like a lot of times you'll hear, but this is what I think you're also describing too. It's an interesting discussion because there's a lot of video game music back then that was terrible and forgettable and bad, and I think those people got access to the same tools and the same ability to compose and put together much more, sophisticated soundtracks. But the end result is still, I don't fucking know what was that, right? I'm remembering. Like you pick a random fucking the Nintendo the GameCube Naruto fighting games had some music on them that was like pretty completely forgettable, that's had that Naruto kind of sound effect to it. And there were one or two that I remember, and then it was like they grabbed samples from some existing famous sample tracks that you then hear in a bunch of other games, used a lot. So you can tell when it's like the composer had a gig and they were just like hitting deadlines on it, and you throw that on there. And then you have like the Okami soundtrack, which is fucking 5 discs.
Yeah.
And it has a very distinct, awesome sound and style to it. Admittedly, there's too much music in that game, to be perfectly honest. But it stands out, I just think that like there's always going to be people that know how to use the medium, and if you're a good composer with chiptunes and 8-bit, you can be a good composer, whatever they give you. And if you don't know what you're doing, then it's going to be pretty forgettable no matter what.
I think we can tie both of these emails together by the internet was better and music was better because 18 years ago, Shoes by Kelly, aka Liam Kyle Sullivan, came out. That fucking song rules. You've seen it. You've seen Shoes.
Okay, just based on photo, I don't know what the fuck is going on here. So no, I don't know what this is.
Shame on you. Shame.
I was hoping this was like gonna be a deep cut off of like Anarchy Reigns or something.
No, man. It's a deep cut off of 2003.
Okay. Alrighty. Let's see. Tune in next week when we will once again continue to boomer out and talk about how the old times used to be better.
Yeah, they were better. They were so much better. You guys don't even know.
No, they do know, and they mostly agree. In fact, there's a whole.
Yeah, it's true. That's the fun part.
There's a whole bit about like with hip hop in particular, how there was like a whole bunch of listeners that, besides those who came in just for Drake, were actively like mainly listening to older generations of rap and were not really in tune with new shit.
Just skip the whole fucking section. That's great.
There were like
funny
walls of quality that like people were like, oh no, I don't fuck with the shit that came out while I was growing up. No, that wasn't. There wasn't much going on. There's always standouts, and there's always people you always have a friend who's out there listening on SoundCloud that's out there grabbing stuff and can recommend out there. Mm-hmm. So, but there's a whole bunch of people that were just like, nah, fuck this entire thing. Like nothing going on.
That's really funny.
Alrighty.
Have a good week, everybody.